You're this perp back with another live stream. This is the Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania live discussion, talking full on spoilers. I got a bunch of people just coming in tonight on the panel. I got a couple people in the back right now. Let me bring them in. What up? What up?
Yo.
Yeah, man. So we got Brian over there from Spoiler Kings, and we got Ryan from Real Perspective. Tell the people that don't know about your channels, because I know like these are two new people that probably nobody's ever seen on stream before. So Ryan, let them know who you
Uh
are.
yeah. Honestly, I just started my new podcast, Real Perspective, this year, just because I'm tired of going on rants on Twitter. I might as well just talk about it and record it with a few guests. But dude, like I've been dying to talk about Ant-Man. I can't wait for it.
Okay. LB, the link is in the little group chat. You should see it in there since you're in there now. So uh Brian, tell a little bit tell the people a little bit about Spoiler Kings and
Hey, I'm 33% of the Spoiler Kings. We do movie reviews, we do comic book reviews, we do anything Marvel, DC, we do all talks on anything nerdy. We do all those things. So we right now we're doing Black Excellence for February. We're doing all Black Excellent movies, do all type of things. But I like to focus on comic books too. So that's why I don't want to jump at this, because after watching that, people hating on the end scenes and not understanding stuff. Yeah, I had to jump on. I had to talk about it.
Okay. Now we got two familiar faces. People have seen them around, you know what I'm saying? We got K Dot and Anzo. Welcome. Welcome.
Yo. What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's good? What's good?
Guys?
I have a really feel. I have a feeling, depending on who shows up, that I think me and Anzo are probably the only ones that like this movie. I'm just assuming.
Hey,
That
I didn't hate this movie. So I didn't hate it.
You
It was
hate
better than
everything there,
Wakanda
that's
Yeah,
Forever.
we already know about K
It was
already.
better than Wakanda
He
Forever.
came in with this mid dynasty. You know what I mean? Like
my-
Damn,
this
bro.
Hey,
lane already.
at least mid is better than being bad, and Wakanda Forever was bad.
Ooh.
In Wakanda, it was pretty bad.
I
That
can
was
agree with
that
that
shit
too.
was-
Mid just means average. Average isn't exactly bad or good. It's like you're in the middle.
What
Mid
up,
is just
Guru?
forgettable.
What
though.
up? What up?
What up?
So you just got out of watching it, bro? Not too long
Yeah,
ago.
yeah. I got out of watching it, and definitely got some thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it's gonna be pretty mixed in this room. But before we get started, how many times has everybody's just watched it like once or twice? I watched it twice so far.
I've seen it twice.
Ryan twice,
Twice.
I've
Anzo.
seen it twice.
Okay, K Dot.
I've seen it once. I really don't want to watch this movie again.
And I know Guru.
I watched it. The only thing
Okay.
I missed was the no, I seen both the post credit scenes. I've seen both.
Okay.
Okay.
Let me give a shout out to the chat real quick. T Turner, to you. Briggs the Conqueror, salute. Two new names I've never seen before, so welcome. LB's here. Blade. So Ant-Man was better than Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Let
Crack
me just
is
say,
one hell of a-
LB, check your Twitter. LB, I sent it.
I already sent it to him.
Yes, I would say, me personally, I enjoyed this movie more than Wakanda, but
As
and,
did I.
Wakanda had
and,
no color, y'all. Man.
and just for like a start to a phase, like I think this was a better start than Black Widow for me. So
Oh, that goes without saying.
I
I mean,
agree.
you actually have a good villain, like someone, and you know what? They started low on the villain, because he's going to take it to a different heights. I mean, if you know anything about Kang and understand his variants, it's going to be crazy.
mhm. So kind of slowly, like kind of getting into things. Like let's talk about expectations. Like what were some of y'all expectations going in and coming out of it, Ryan?
I'll be honest. Like I try to go into like not only just like MCU films, DCU films, or whatever, just like any film with it without expectations. Because ultimately, when you put high expectations, especially in like Marvel movies, you're probably going to come out at least lackluster nowadays. Because Phase 4 was very mixed, I would say, for a lot of people, and I'm sure a lot of you guys share that sentiment as much as I do.
Mhm.
Dude, this is the start to Phase 5, and it just fell on its face in every single way possible. I mean, outside of Jonathan Majors just being an amazing actor, I think just the writing, editing, a lot of this just was not good. And kind of like I know I had no expectations, but it still left me disappointed. I'm just like, dude, what the fuck?
Okay. Brian.
I went in knowing that I'm going to be a King fan no matter what. I just know that I'm Jonathan Majors. Come on, that's just, I mean, the dude's amazing. And the casting, his acting abilities is amazing. But I also knew it was an Ant-Man movie, right? So I'm coming in knowing Ant-Man movies last about an hour, 40 minutes to 2 hours. You know, it's going to have a lot of corny jokes that don't always hit. But, you know, if they can put some action into it and can move along the story to get to where we're trying to get to, let's utilize it. Let's try to make this Ant-Man movie to a good movie. Ant-Man movies don't make more than $400 million. You know what I'm saying? Like we knew that going in. So if this movie makes like $700 million, it's done its job. So I'm going in knowing those type of things, not trying to think this is going to be, you know, change the world. But I feel like it's a better start to Phase 5 than we ever have for Phase 4. So I'm good with it.
Okay. Guru.
Well, I had very low expectations, and I had high expectations initially when Ant-Man Quantumanium was announced. But when I walked into the theater, I had low expectations, and it exceeded my low expectations. I'll say it did that. Like it was better. It wasn't a bad movie. You know, I've seen bad movies. I've seen bad Marvel movies. It wasn't a bad movie, but
It
it
wasn't
wasn't.
Black Adam.
What's that?
Yeah, well, the thing, Black Adam wasn't bad. It was boring,
It's boring.
which made it bad. But this movie here, it did some things, but I had low expectations going in.
Okay. K Dot.
The only expectation I had was, like I said, you guys know I only wanted to watch this movie for Jonathan Majors. And I would say he delivered on his part as an actor because I love seeing Jonathan Majors act. My other expectations, as far as like anything else, I was like, I really didn't care. I only cared about Jonathan Majors. I was just here for him, strictly him. And Jonathan Majors delivered as an actor. As an actor, he delivered for me. That's about it. Got my expectations very limited this time. I was going to set myself up at all.
Okay. Well, welcome Rashad. Welcome LB. Anzo, what were your expectations going in and out?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that they were high because I didn't really like the second Ant-Man. First one was okay. But my expectations was to see Kang, Jonathan Majors. He's been killing it in every role he has done so far that I've seen him in. So I was excited more for him than anything else in this movie. I think he actually delivered as well. But to me, it was just like a regular, old popcorn movie. It wasn't one of those movies that you had to think about or anything like that. Just had some nice action to it, and the story was just pretty much basic story. So I didn't have an issue with it, but my expectations were Jonathan Majors all the way.
Okay. Rashad. And I know Rashad, I seen a little bit of your review and you mentioned the head detective from In Living Color. I was like, that's spot on with Modoc's character. That shit's funny as hell. But what were some of your expectations?
All right, well, what's going on, everybody? First of all, I know I'm kind of late to the party here. How's
Okay.
everybody doing? Yeah, expectations. Yo, it's Ant-Man. Come on, it's Ant-Man. Like I don't have like Infinity War or like Endgame type expectations. It's Ant-Man introducing King the Conqueror. So I came in not expecting much, and that's pretty much what I got. So I didn't walk away disappointed, but I didn't walk away loving the movie either or hating it. It was just like, in the middle, like, all right, that was all right. It's fast food. You eat it, it tastes good, it goes through you, you forget about it.
That shit fuck up your stomach too, though. But LB,
It was okay. Um, I had no expectations for the third time with Ant-Man movie because,
hold on, your mic sounded kind of weird.
well, yeah, you ain't saying anything, so I had to do
In
some.
the quantum realm.
Yeah, you're in the quantum realm right now.
He's just trying to send us signals right now.
So I don't sound good at all.
No.
Not really.
Nah, man, I'm
Hold on.
tired.
Yeah, just come back. Just
How
come
do I
back.
sound now?
Nah, it's still
How
kind
do
of
I sound
muffled.
now? All right, well,
You
I'll be
said,
back in 5 minutes.
all right. Yeah, he definitely in the quantum realm. That shit's funny as hell. But next thing I wanted to kind of talk about. Let's talk about some of these characters and kind of go off from there. Starting with um, the starting with the things that I didn't like. As far as the characters go, I didn't care for none of those freedom fighters, whoever those like Quasar and all that motherfuckers. Like I didn't care about none of those characters except for the Blob. He was actually funny. That should have been like the only like funny character aside from like Ant-Man or whatnot. But I didn't really care for that character. But um, let's talk about Hope though, because I think Hope got sidelined completely. Where I think this would have been a perfect kind of movie to give her a little bit more
Yes.
something more to do. Like her and Janet should have just definitely had a lot more screen time and just more to do. Because like I would have replaced all that freedom fighter stuff with just building up more of that relationship between like Janet and Hope and stuff. But Ryan, how you feel about Hope?
I think your sentiments towards Hope are my sentiments for almost every single character in this film.
Mm.
I feel like they waste all the amount of time in the world. I think maybe Scott and Cassie get the most foundation building between their characters, but even Cassie, I'm sure we'll get into that later. She would just became a superhero. There was no story for her, and the story
Mm.
with her dad was nothing. And the same goes for Hope. She has no story with her dad, with her mom, and yeah, it just she felt lackluster. This movie is called Ant-Man and the Wasp when it really should have been called Ant-Man and Plot Convenience Quantumania because the Wasp was barely in this film.
True. Okay. Brian.
Actually, I gotta say, Evangeline, it's definitely something happened there. They took all her lines. I mean, she saved the day twice, right? But she probably had 15 lines in the entire movie. It was crazy. I didn't understand what they were doing with her.
Her and Scott didn't even kiss.
Yeah, they just looked at each other. That was it. That was the romantic moment.
It was poorly done. I think the sidekick Hope did nothing in the entire movie. It didn't make any sense. I actually hated Cassie, by the way, too. I thought I like Catherine Newton. I liked her in Supernatural. I thought she was fine. I hated her. She seemed like whiny. They both seemed like whiny teenage girls. That's how they made Hope seem this way. She kept on saying, "Mom, mom." Like, dude, you're a grown ass woman. I don't understand why you're acting this way. And I just didn't understand the direction they are going with her. So I don't know if she's gonna be in future films or what, but it just seems like she had no character development, no arc, no anything.
Okay. BG.
Yeah, I didn't really give a fuck about Hope's character either, honestly. Like she just wasn't really mentioned. Like the brother said, she didn't really have a story. And it kind of, I know you may be trying to go one by one, but um it just brings me back to Michelle Pfeiffer's character. I think Janet was the most important character in the entire film, even beyond Ant-Man. I think she was the true antagonist, or if you will, antagonist to Kang, right? Even though Kang was the antagonist to the entire film, Janet was antagonizing Kang. So the things that happened with her is what mattered to Kang. And I think that made her a very important character. The rest of the characters were kind of just there just to be there.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Dot.
I feel the same about everybody else on this panel about Hope, because I actually liked her in Ant-Man 2. I mean, I liked her way more than Scott.
Yeah, she's getting busy.
She did more in Ant-Man 2 than she did in this movie. To me, I didn't dislike her character. She just felt like Neytiri from Avatar 2. Like when she pulled up, she came and she did her business. She wasn't lacking. But as far as speaking roles and her impact on the story, it wasn't it wasn't as impactful as her first outing in Ant-Man 2 as Wasp.
Okay. All right. Anzo.
Yeah, again, I have to agree with everybody else on there. I think she was sidelined a bit. I think they focused more on Cassie than they did with her. And like everybody said, it is Ant-Man and the Wasp, right? So I think that they could have given her a little bit more to do. But yeah, she was definitely sidelined. I thought they could have done a lot more with her. And I have to agree, I didn't really like Cassie too much either.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Rashad.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with everybody else. So yeah, she definitely got sidelined, but I think that was because this is a introduction to what's the daughter's name, Cassie.
Cassie.
So this is like her introduction to being a new Avenger or whatever. So it's gonna lead to all female Avengers group. So yeah, she had to take a back seat so she can shine. But I think that kind of hurt the movie because it is called, like you said, Ant-Man and the Wasp, and the Wasp really didn't, she wasn't really a factor in the movie. But like K Dot said, kind of like your girl from Avatar, when she showed up, she showed out. When she came on the scene, she did a thing. But other than that, she's like pretty much in the behind this, behind like just watching. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Okay.
that's my take on it.
Okay. LB, you good? You there?
Yeah.
LB? Yeah, you sound better. You sound better. Now, quick thoughts on your expectations going in and out, and your thoughts on just because right now we're just talking about the characters, and then give your thoughts on Hope's character.
All right. Well, good evening, gentlemen. Well, I had no expectations for the third time in a row with an Ant-Man movie, and because Peyton Reed as a director sucks, I knew that before. I knew that before the first Ant-Man movie. So he's proven me correct 3 times. The movie was okay, and I already knew what everyone here was going to say beforehand. I knew what it was going to be. Oh, it's a fun popcorn flick, aka making up excuses for an average mid movie. But hey, the movie's okay. I don't dislike it. I don't love it. It's okay. I mean, y'all riding for the movie because y'all love some Jonathan Majors.
Yes.
I hear you. But
Hey, LB, Jonathan Majors is the only thing I liked about this movie. All right.
and Jonathan Majors'
Facts.
Kang character was mid too. Everything in this
Nah,
movie was
nah.
mid.
We're not gonna do that. We're not gonna do
We'll
that right
get
now.
to
We'll get to that.
that.
We'll get to that. We're not gonna do that. Well, we're
But,
gonna get to that.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely. Like y'all got 100% bias towards this. So I look, man.
All right, okay. Can I say? I think what you're really trying to say is that the way the character was written was weak, but you have to admit with what they gave him, he killed it with what they gave him. But the character wasn't written too good.
He was alright.
He's just
Right?
a good actor, bro. That's really what it comes down to.
I mean, yeah, he's a good actor, but like he wasn't amazing.
Oh no, dude, I'm definitely with you. I got my own fair share of my problems with Kang in this movie.
Yeah, but as far as Hope, I mean, I thought all of them was fine. Like I like the family dynamic of it. Like I felt like each one contributed to the movie as far as certain parts of the movie. Like Hope probably had the least to do out of all of them, but I still felt like each one of them did have something to do.
Okay. Because in my mind, I was like when I watched it the second time, what they should have done, and we'll also talk about like this another one of my kind of like gripes of the film. When they split up, it should have been like I don't know if necessarily Hank should have been in this movie.
Nope.
Because it would have been interesting to just see Cassie and Scott get split up, and then you have Hope and Janet split up. So like you'll have two different kind of storylines going on. while they're trying to find each other. There's something that they could have done with that. But next character, this is a character I don't really care for. He's always going to look goofy. Is MODOK.
Oh,
MODOK, I never cared for MODOK's character at all. Like he was always like a goofy looking character to me. But in this, it was just like it was just whatever. I didn't really care for him. But Ryan, how'd you feel about MODOK?
I think the best way to describe MODOK as a character in this film is each time I've seen the movie, everyone laughed, but not in the way I think the movie intended them to laugh. Because with an ugly ass baby face like that, shit, I feel bad for I forgot the actor's name that played Darren Cross MODOK, but like that dude was done. I don't want to say dirty, but because he hasn't really done anything outside of that one vampire show on FX and then the first Ant-Man movie. But
Corey Stroll, whatever.
yeah, Corey
Oh.
Stroll.
He was in House of Cards, bruh.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I've never watched House of Cards.
Oh, he was great in House of Cards for the little few episodes he was in.
Dude, like he's a good actor too, and I'll be honest, I'm one of those people that was like, yeah, he's the same as Ant-Man, but I thought he was a convincing enough villain in the first one and had some sort of presence. And then you bring in like this whole comedic gist, like the whole Cassie and him line dialogue about him being a dick was just so cringy and made me just not want to watch this character anymore. Like, bro, fucking sacrifice yourself any faster, please. That's all I had going for him in that second viewing.
All right, Brian.
MODOK was a waste, honestly. Well, let's say MODOK in a comic book is a goofy character, so understand that. So come in, understand he's supposed to be goofy. That's what it is. All right. But it was just stupid. It looked stupid. You know, it didn't make any logical sense. And I think they're just trying to tie the first movie to the third movie, and they chose this area, and it wasn't needed. Like this movie, if he was gone, nothing changes about the movie. The plot does not change at all. So a character who doesn't affect the plot should not be in the movie. You can easily get rid of him and not have any problems. I gotta disagree with you about King the Conqueror. I think you gotta realize also that he played 4 different King variants in the same movie. Immortus, Ramatut, the Scar Centurion. He's going to be so many different things. So please give Jonathan Majors, his respect, because he did it, and he did all those different characters, and he's going to continue to grow. So it's not just what you guys are saying; it's more, and it's what you do. You get just the tip of something, and under not seeing the entire thing that you're going to get. And this is a good introduction. So I just want to throw that out.
Okay, BG, what's your thoughts on MODOK or Darren?
Yeah, I think the MODOK Darren thing, it's just more evidence of Marvel not really knowing what it's going to do from movie to movie. So I think the Darren thing as MODOK could actually work if there were breadcrumbs set up in the previous 2 movies that would give significance to what we've seen with MODOK. But since it's kind of a hey, look what we can do kind of thing, and it seems like it's done very rushed and very abruptly, now it's a character in a film that has no story, it has no relevance. Like the brother said, if MODOK wasn't even in the film, would we even give a fuck? I don't think so. Like it's not a big deal. But I think if you would have planned this out more methodically, they could have got some use out of this character being in the film. So I think it's just more evidence of Marvel not knowing what it's doing from movie to movie.
Okay. Well, to answer this question, he kept MODOK around because Janet left, because Janet was his right hand for a while until she escaped and stuff. So, K Dot.
I mean, aside from the looks, I also felt MODOK was completely wasted. My Doomsday PTSD from BVS kicked in because they did the, take 2 separate characters and mix them into one nonsense. When I'm like, Darren Cross's Yellow Jacket, George, like, no, stop doing that. Yeah, I felt he was wasting, just like when Cassie told like, stop being a dick. It's like it was so corny. I get it. He's a goofy character, but he was corny And then when he died and stuff, it reminded me of how Lady Sif was almost dying from Thor 4, and he was made to a complete joke. And I'm like, okay, like, why are you here? Because I think what they should have done with Darren was that Kang, who has all this great technology, fixed his body and just gave him a better upgraded Yellow Jacket suit. And so when he fights, Scott again in this movie, he's a badass Yellow Jacket, or with a bigger
which would
upgrade.
have had pin particles, right?
Exactly. Either pin part.
Well,
Damn.
a quantum specific one, yellow. I just wish he was Yellow Jacket again, not this. Because what you did was you just killed a potential villain you can have as a reoccurring villain for the future, but they're gonna use the multiverse to bring him back, I guess. But yeah, you just killed a
possibly.
potential reoccurring villain that you could have had in the future.
That's typical Marvel shit. But Anzo, how you feel about MODOK?
So I guess I'm gonna have a different opinion than everybody else on the panel because I did not mind MODOK at all. If you watched and it's not great, right? But they had that little Disney cartoon, the MODOK on Disney Plus. I watched that,
The Hoover Show.
and yeah, and that MODOK reminded me exactly of the one we've seen in this movie. So I had no problems with that. He's a silly character. I didn't think he was bad at all. I didn't hate him. I didn't have a problem with him. Like I guess everybody else did, but for me, no problems with MODOK. I enjoyed his character, to be honest with you.
Okay, Rashad.
I mean, he was used for comic relief. He's not a character that we're supposed to, I guess, take seriously. I mean, I don't really know too much about the character. I mean, I saw him on a Superhero Squad, the cartoon and stuff like that. So I don't think we were supposed to take him serious. So I didn't mind him. He was corny at times, and the whole death scene reminded me of Deadpool 2, where Deadpool took forever to die. But yeah, and just every time I saw him, he reminded me of the Head Detective. I couldn't help. I just kept seeing the Head Detective
Just
there.
funny.
But yeah, I didn't mind him. I thought he was all right.
All right. LB.
Yeah, I thought he was all right. I ain't have a problem with him.
I mean, his character for me, it goes into a deeper issue that I'm starting to have with Marvel, is this redeeming villains and or using a character for comic relief and beating the same joke into the ground. I mean, we've seen this same character in Marvel movies multiple times now, and for me, it's just getting old. Like the juvenile jokes, what I call white boy humor, the penis jokes and all that stupidness. It's like, oh, but he was okay. He didn't upset me, but it's just like, okay, Marvel, move it along now.
Yeah, LB, you did break. I didn't like that. I didn't like how he got redeemed in the end. I wanted a villain, not a good guy. But all right.
I think they should have
but
did
you
more
got to
with
think
him.
at this.
They really
I'll
should have
say,
done more
I
with
think
MODOK. MODOK should have been smarter. He should have had a big brain. He should have been pulling the strings behind the scenes, playing like he's listening to Kang, making the story really making them do things that he wants them to do. And then
He should have been Littlefinger.
he
Should have been Littlefinger.
exactly. He should have been the villain,
Littlefinger.
the real villain in this movie, and they did not do that. Just made him comic relief, and that was a mistake.
Okay.
But I mean, but you got to think at this point in the game that this is Marvel, man. Marvel's gonna, you gotta know what you're gonna get with a Marvel movie, man. It's just a formula that they follow. It's all the tropes and everything. You gotta know what you're getting into, man. I think once you do that,
And also
it
to your
won't
point,
disappoint you.
it's an Ant-Man movie, so you gotta expect that, right? If they're following the same path of the two Ant-Man movies, which I figured they would, MODOK is gonna be that character, And I liked the fact that he was Yellow Jacket from the first one, because you see when he crumples up, you know what I mean? You could tell like something happened to his body when he went into the quantum realm, and then he's in there, and all he is a big head. So I didn't have a problem with that.
I think it comes down to just like this movie had all the right pieces, just everyone in the creative team didn't know how to fucking put them together.
Exactly.
Facts.
That's fair. Next character, We got the OG Ant-Man himself, Hank. Um, there's another character that I like what they did with his character, but it definitely I don't like. I don't think he needed to be in this movie, to be honest. I don't know, other than the whole Janet thing, but I just don't think they really went in depth with that whole their relationship and stuff like that. They kind of touched on it here and stuff and said yeah, we cheated on each other and stuff. We was with other people and stuff. It didn't really work out. And it was cool, but I do like the scene where he brings out all the ants and to attack Kang and stuff because that's just that's the OG Ant-Man doing it. That shit was dope. But how does everybody else feel about Hank? Ryan?
Bro, Michael Douglas was sleepwalking through this movie. My guy, I agree with what everyone said. I don't want to say he had no reason to be in the movie. I just think it goes back to what I said before. They had all the right pieces. They didn't know what to do with them. I think if they just restructured the plot, and I think if they had Hank and Janet outside in the real world trying to get a signal down to Cassie, Scott, and Janet, because throughout the entire film, Janet's just keeping the Kang's there secret. So it's her being down there never really actually affects the plot. And I think having these two characters outside of the world, not being able to contact these three, understanding what the consequences or who the villain is in this would have made all the difference, because Michael Douglas was just here for the jokes and the paycheck, and it only worked maybe 5% of the time for me.
All right. Brian?
I thought Hank was misused. Hank Pym is one of the most brilliant people in all of Marvel. All right. He's the best Ant-Man. He thinks on his feet. And the fact that Cassie sees him as her grandfather, he should have been showing her how to use the ant suit. So what we really should have gotten is when we got to the quantum realm, Hank Pym being Ant-Man in the ant suit. And then fighting to save Hope. And then Hank Pym should have died in the quantum realm. We should have had a sacrifice in this movie, and it should have been him. And that would have been a perfect arc. You know, it would have made perfect sense. And you're dying for the woman you love, and you're fighting because, you see the disrespect she's getting. You see what Kang is doing to her, and you want to fight for her. And that's what we should have gotten, and we did not.
Okay. Guru?
I agree. That would have been dope if he would have did some fighting. Yeah, Hank. I kind of agree that he was kind of lackluster. Maybe even shouldn't have been in the movie because he wasn't a big point. But I disagree when you say you like the part where all the ants came out. I thought that was kind of cheesy and kind of poorly done because right before they come out, they do these little cut scenes where he was like, "Oh, I was down here and the ants, they were trying to reach me the whole time because they went into a different civilization and they was advanced 1,000 years and they figured out all the shit." I'm like, come on now. I'm like, just out of nowhere, we get this whole backstory where the ants have been working and plotting for years in their own fissure of the quantum realm.
Well, because time just works differently in the quantum realm.
That's where
Because
I was going. Wait. That's where I was going with this stuff. That's my problem with the whole film.
Yeah.
This whole quantum shit conflicts with the multiverse and it conflicts with time travel. And I don't know what the fuck is going on anymore. As far as the practicality and the science fiction nature of the things that we're dealing with, from the quantum realm to the theory around the multiverse to time travel. All of the sci-fi elements have been thrown out the window, and it's just magic portals at this point.
Well, I would say to that, with the quantum realm, we gotta realize that exists outside of time. That's why Ant-Man didn't get snapped away. He was just stuck in the quantum realm.
Sorry, Chill. Oh, sorry, Perp. I was gonna say, but you see the thing and the issue that I have with the quantum realm is they don't explain it well, because when Ant-Man was in there, he was in there for what he felt like him for 5 months, but it was 5 years or something like that. But Janet keeps saying I was in there for 30 years. But in our reality, she was, but in there, she would have been only there for 3 months or something like that. And I don't know if maybe they explained that or something, and I missed
they
it.
didn't.
But to me, it seems like they're just It's like they're just using whatever works for the story with the quantum realm, and that's a big issue that I have.
Because for me, I feel like once we get to Avengers 5, that's where like because that's like when Scott and them came out of the quantum realm. I think 2 years have passed. Like I would assume that like 2 years have passed. Like where Quantumanium starts, we're in present or like what 20 probably like 2023, and then it goes into like present day or something like that because everything Hawkeye still takes place in 2025, and like so that could
Dude,
be.
the timeline's so fucking confusing since they did the 5-year time jump that it kind of just went out the window after Endgame.
I would have to agree because, like, when they got out of the quantum realm in this movie, it seemed like maybe it was just a day. Because when he goes to the coffee shop, the guy's like, "Oh yeah, it's Ant-Man." So how long were they really in there for? You know, was it a day? Was it a year? And if you're going by what they tell us about the quantum realm, then even if they were in there for a day, it should have been at least like a year or two. You know what I mean? So I don't
Yeah,
understand.
I was
Yeah,
thinking. I was
but
thinking
with
that
all
too.
that said, the ants went to a different side of the quantum realm, and if I'm not mistaken, they said they had thousands of years to develop technology and stuff.
In a
Right,
day.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like, what is this? Like, what are we doing? Marvel,
I
like,
think with the quantum realm, it just depends on like there's just different pockets that like just time works differently in
They
those
say,
pockets.
yeah, Hank says something about the ants going like deeper in time in the quantum realm. And the explanation never really goes further than that. But like what I kind of understand or get from that is like there's like different sub levels of what the quantum realm is, and each sub level as you keep going further and further within is a longer time span, and you never understand where they are because at least when you watch the first one and you see Scott go in it, it's kind of just this void, it's nothing, and then now you get all of this life, these new colonies, these different planet-esque type places.
And you know what? It makes sense, right? Because you know, Event Horizons, the closer you get, time slows
Yeah,
down or whatever. So it makes sense, right? But they don't give us enough explanation to be like, okay, now we
exactly.
understand. That's a big
Mhm.
issue.
It's just
But
little bits of
they kind of
dialogue that don't connect.
they do a big
Yeah.
umbrella. They say basically this is an entire multiverse in the quantum realm. So they're saying it's so big that things are going to be happening differently on one side of it than the other. So you know
Yeah, and
that's
if
how
you
they explain
also
it.
just to add on to it, quantum realm thing real quick. Um, the He Who Remains been trying to purge and get rid of other Kanes, right?
Mhm.
But he let Kane the Conqueror just like chill in the quantum realm the whole time in the sacred timeline. And I was like, okay.
Well, wasn't he banished or something like that? Because did they say something about he was like excluded like from the rest of them or something like that? That the
Yeah,
king that was in the con.
Yeah, they
okay.
sabotaged him.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, they
I mean,
sabotaged me. Yeah.
if we're looking at the sacred timeline, I mean, this Kane got there. Well, he been there ever since Janet been down there this whole time. And if he remains and trying to get rid of these kings and stuff, he just let Kane the Conqueror chill in the sacred timeline for so
No,
long.
he got banished.
Outside.
Yeah,
He was
Outside
banished.
the
he was
timeline.
banished. Yeah.
But who was I on? All right. Dot, you talked about Hank.
Not yet. I mean, I do agree
Okay.
almost everybody else's opinion on Hank here. I mean, Hank always been wasted. I don't know why they went with Scott Lang first. I mean, Hank Pym should have appeared in Avengers 2. He should have been in the MCU because they had rights to him this whole time. But as far as this movie, I mean, I guess the coolest thing he did was summon the Ant Army. But what the Ant Army did, I was like, but it was a cool moment for him to finally do something, like something. But I think I would have liked him like actually just popping out in the Ant-Man suit and doing his thing.
Mm-hmm.
With like I feel like all of them should have just had Ant-Man suits at this point. Janet,
Like
I
some
all of them.
Shazam shit.
Yeah, like they all might as well because you kind of set up Cassie, Hope, and Scott like this Ant family type of thing. Might as well just have them all in suit and they all fighting Kane together. And Kane should have at least killed Hank Pym.
Exactly.
Janet,
Someone should
or
have died.
Scott.
It should have been a sacrifice. Someone should have been
Mhm.
sacrificed to this movie.
I think they're saving that.
King should have savagely murdered Hank.
I mean,
But
I agree with you guys. It would have made the stakes a little bit higher, but they don't really kill off their characters unless it's like a big, huge event, like in the regular movies. So I
But
didn't
that-
have a problem with that.
I think that's kind of the problem they're running into. Like, you can
Mhm.
start expecting the stakes in the quote unquote like big Avengers movies, which is what they pretty much considered this movie. If I remember them in the interview saying like, Peyton Reed went to Marvel whenever Ant-Man 3 was coming up in talks and was just like, this needs to be a big movie, it needs to be like Avengers level esque. And I'm sitting here like, this feels like the least Avengers film out of the three so far, ironically.
Well, because they threw a Avengers level character. That's why I treated it as a event. Well, everything in here was event film. They just based off Kang being in it, just based off Kang. But it didn't feel like anything event film because you'd have to have some stakes there to show
Make
that
it eventful.
Yeah.
Well,
And by
also, you
stakes-
got to think Kang himself, like Ant-Man was going toe to toe with him in a fight, and I'm like, dude, if this guy's supposed to be the next Thanos, if this guy's supposed to be Thanos level, and the lower tier Avenger is going toe to toe with him, I'm like, nah, yeah. So there's definitely more powerful version of Kang that we just haven't seen.
He also gets taken out by ants. Like,
Kind of, but I mean, there's other Kangs, but this main Kang, he's not dead. But this one,
he's not dead.
He's the main King.
yeah, he's the main king. You got to also keep in mind he's not as full power.
You guys really think that he went toe to toe with Kang? Kang messed his
Kang fucked his head.
Fucked him up,
He
man.
stomped his butt.
He fucked him up, but Scott was hanging with him for a little bit.
I wouldn't say that. He got in a couple of punches, but he was on the ground. He was bleeding. I don't think he held.
Because you got to think Thanos. You got to think when Thanos came on the scene, Thanos bodied the Hulk in like 5 seconds. So you knew this guy's not to be fucked with. Like he took on the most powerful Avenger. This dude. I'm sorry, he fucked him up, but he did break a sweat. It wasn't an easy victory.
I disagree. I think it was pretty easy for him. I just think at that time, plus we got to also understand, right? Kang depends on his tech a lot. So when he first comes into that scene, you could see his arm like fizzing out, which meaning his tech wasn't working. So the fact that he just bodied him with his own strength shows me that when he has his full tech and everything, that he is definitely going to be a serious threat.
Okay, I guess I can. Because if you put the Hulk in that same scene, Hulk would have fucked Kang up.
Not this Hulk.
Oh,
I agree. Not this Hulk. Yeah,
that Hulk is dead.
I don't even know why I opened up that can of worms, man. I don't even want to go there because y'all know the Hulk is my boy, and they've been doing dirty.
Hey,
me too.
There's a whole bunch of Hulk capping about to happen here.
Yeah, no, Hulk has always been my favorite character, and what they do to him in the MCU, I'm like, this is not the freaking Hulk, man. It's not.
Nah, at all.
I don't know. We got some trolls in the chat, I guess, but it's all good. We keep it moving. I'm gonna skip over to Janet though, because she is definitely the most important character. The one thing that I did not like about this is the whole like her waiting to tell exactly who Kang is and what he's done. Because as soon as they got down in the quantum realm, that's when she should have told everybody. Like, and as they're like traversing or just trying to find, Ant-Man and all them, like Scott, like you're getting all this information as they're walking along and stuff like that. And that to me, I felt like that ate up a lot of runtime, unnecessary runtime and stuff like that. But I do like Janet's character. But I also understand that, her reasoning why she didn't want to tell Hope, because like, even Bill Murray's character mentioned like, she's killed people. She's gotten multiple people like killed and just, homes and all that. Like, how do you tell your daughter that? You know what I'm saying? And, she just wanted to kind of forget that part of her life and whatnot. But Ryan, how'd you feel about Janet's character?
Honestly, like, I'm kind of shocked that all the praise that she's been getting in this movie, because I think her character works just as much inside the quantum realm as she would outside of it. She doesn't do anything inside the quantum realm except for the one thing of when they're walking in like that little desert area, and then conveniently comes up upon like someone she used to fight and gets a ride so they can get somewhere. I mean, the everything she does in this movie could have been done outside the quantum realm. And I think probably would have added more stakes, in my opinion. And yeah, I don't know. I just don't think she really did much in this movie. And one other thing too that I only just thought about while watching this the second time. Didn't she have fucking powers when she came out in the second movie?
Yeah.
Like, did her powers disappear or something?
That is one thing.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
That's
so
one
did
thing I wanted to kind of touch on real quick. Is like,
She not Jesus.
is she a mutant, or is she a mutant, or is she like a Nexus B? Like, because I feel like it might be like a Monica Rambeau situation. Like when she went down the quantum realm, like something fucked with her, like genetically, because now she can like do shit with her hands and stuff, which didn't really like. That's why I'm thinking like maybe she does have like some type of mutant gene or something like that, or I don't know. But
it's only it's outside the quantum realm. So understand, she has quantum realm, the force basically inside her, so she can harness some of it, so she could be like a beacon with it. So that's one thing. So when it's outside of quantum realm, she has that power. But inside of quantum realm, she's just like anybody else.
Did she say that in the second one? And I just like don't remember.
I feel like she said it when she got out. She's like, I've been around this so long. It's like she absorbed a lot of that stuff, and that's why she was able to like radiate, and that's why she was able to heal Ghost. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's because she had that in her hand or in her already, because she's been down there so long. It's been absorbed by her. But when she's back in there, she's just like everybody else. Everyone's been absorbed by that. So that's not saving everybody.
But like I think it kind of revolves back around to like the main issue of understanding what the quantum realm really does in terms of time and how long she's really been down there. Because Janet's aged 30 years in real time, but she's probably been there for like, I think it was you, Perp, that said like 3 months, if we're really thinking about it. So I think that's just where the disconnect is for me, and really just understanding what the effect of her being down there for 3 months worth of actual time for her would mean in terms of 30 years of our time.
Even seeing her being down there with Kang, for her to do the stuff that she was doing, and to have relationships with all those people, because that was the whole point of her being down there. She has relationships with everyone. She's touched everyone in some way, because she was like the leader for years of that freedom fighter. It's like she was the one fighting against Kang for years. They said that she was his Joker for Batman. Like she was that for him. She says like anarchist, whatever you want to call her. That was the whole point. So she was the only reason to have anything to do with the quantum realm. And the funny part is, if she just told them any time beforehand, none of this crap happens. So it's like has to be there.
I mean, yeah, I think that was another thing that kind of bothered me in the beginning, was when she got mad about finding out Cassie, Hank, and Hope were building the quantum map or whatever they called it. And she's like, why didn't you consult me on this? And Hope literally says, I tried asking you about this.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, come on. Like, how many more times are you going to keep like holding off that there's this really dangerous fucking guy down there?
Agreed.
Yeah, like I said, like when we're watching it, like we're flashing, like, yo, just tell them, like, what the hell happened. You should have just tell them. But like, I understand, like, she's probably like really like traumatized by this shit and just doesn't even want like people to even pretty much wants them to completely forget about the quantum realm and as a whole. Probably that's how like she kind of looking at it. But
well, also she probably didn't anticipate your girl making a fucking machine where they can go back to.
Yeah,
dude, I got a whole other issues with that shit.
So, Guru, how you feel about Janet in this movie?
Shit, I like Janet. I like Janet's character in this movie. Michelle Pfeiffer did a great job. I mean, kind of reminded me why she's considered a top actress. I think she works mostly when you set her next to Jonathan Majors. I think Michelle Pfeiffer and Jonathan Majors had good chemistry as far as when we seen them work with one another. And she kind of helps us to explore the Kane the Conqueror character, the different sides of him, especially initially when we first meet him. So I think I agree with everybody as far as her kind of withholding the information about Kane was kind of stupid and it's just done to help drive the story along. But I think ultimately her character works because it allows us to explore the character we all really came to see, which was Kang.
Okay. K-Dot?
Like I said, Janet was, I mean, she was fine. I did like her acting more, but she was fine. I didn't like her keeping the quantum realm stuff from them and keeping the Kang situation away from them while they was in the quantum realm. I understand outside of it, but this is also the same Janet that was helping them in Ant-Man to jump back into the quantum realm. You know, she didn't want them messing with it at all because whoopty fucking look what happened. Kang's here, so
We got Sylvie to blame for that though, but that's a whole other.
yeah. I
That's
mean,
a whole
Sylvie's
other.
blamed for the Kang's coming back, but
Yeah.
in Ant-Man 2, I mean, she was literally just like playing with the quantum realm stuff, even though she didn't want them messing with it, and you know.
Yeah, that was weird. That she even during the blip, right before the blip, why are they going to the quantum realm and grabbing more energy if she knew how dangerous it was? Why would she be even playing with it? And then I understand her not talking to Cass, talking to Hope about everything. But why didn't she just tell Hank? I mean, he's a genius level person. He understands. He's supposed to be our partner. If she just told him, he wouldn't be playing around with that with Cassie.
Well, one thing we haven't considered is maybe she feels guilty because she helped Kang. So
Yeah.
I think her personal guilt may also be what's keeping her from telling people because it's like, damn, well, how he get so powerful? Oh yeah, because I helped his motherfucking ass. Like, so she may have a problem with that. So that helps me to understand why she maybe wouldn't even have gone as far to tell Hank. Because I think you bring up a great point. She should have told Hank, but it has to be more, and maybe she's embarrassed, and that's why she hasn't told him.
And you know, I can agree with her not being embarrassed, but if you know that Kang is the threat that he is, then I think you at least say something. You know what I mean? To wait so long, and then even the fact that when you're actually down there now, she waited too long to tell, and that was the issue that I had too. I'm like, wait, you guys been down there for so long, and you're still like not wanting to tell them? Like you're
They
gonna
waited
have to
50
deal
minutes.
with it.
I counted.
Right. So you're
Yeah, that
still gonna
happened
have
with
to
you.
deal with it. You know what I mean? So you might as well just like
Spit it
let it
out.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. By now, you know.
As soon as they crashed, that's when that's when they should stood. She started. She should have started like opening up and started telling like exactly who this
Right.
man is because everybody's like, oh, he who should not be named and stuff, treating him like Voldemort and shit. Like, but LB, how do you feel about Janet?
Um, she was fine. She was there to explain everything to the audience because they spent too much time with jokes about holes and penises and
That's just
stuff.
funny.
They paid that
Uh,
off. Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah,
whole thing was funny. I agree.
that's what she was there for. Man, nothing really much else to say.
Okay, Rashad.
I pretty much. I mean, I liked all the characters in this movie. I watched Double Toasted's review, and I agree when
My
they said,
people.
you know what I'm saying. So they was like, Corey was like, when they weren't in the quantum realm, that's when they did their best acting. But then when they got to the quantum realm, they just kind of just coasted through that. That's what it felt like. So when you see them together as a family eating and stuff like that, that was their best stuff. You know, like that's when you see who they really are. But then when they get there, it's like, okay,
But
you
let, let,
know,
let me
like
interject real quick. And I think the reason why what you just said is because those scenes were all done on green screen, blue screen, the volume
facts,
versus
right?
them probably actually sitting at a table or in a room having conversation with actual physical things.
Right. Yeah, definitely for sure. For sure. Yeah. So by the time they get there, everybody becomes, less interesting all of a sudden. Like, to me, the most interesting character was the Bill Murray character, because he seemed like he was having the most fun. You know what I'm saying? He was just being Bill Murray. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I didn't mind her though. I thought everybody was fine in this movie. Just like when they started getting to all the exposition stuff and everything. I'll be honest with y'all. Like about halfway through, I fell asleep in that motherfucker. I was out. You hear me? Like I think I woke up when shit, I think right before the final battle. You know what I'm
One
saying?
of my boys, he fell
so
asleep too.
a lot of shit I missed. Yeah, because like the exposition just took forever. I said, dude, stop talking. Let's get to the fucking movie.
That's a huge problem with the MCU lately. There's too much explaining things, and I think
Too
the
much
problem
explaining.
is because it's the multiverse, this quantum realm stuff, this time travel stuff, and that's why I don't like that type of content like that thing, because there's too much explaining going on, because it's too complex to a lot of people.
Yeah, but to be
and,
fair,
and that's the same problem I had with Wakanda Forever. As much as I wanted to love that movie, Wakanda Forever had the same problem where Namor spent about maybe 20 minutes monologuing, talking about, I don't give a fuck about this. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this shit. And that put me to sleep too, and I saw that twice.
Yeah, but to be fair, they do explain. But at least in this one, when they were talking about how she met Kang, they actually showed it. Right?
Yeah,
It
while
wasn't
she was
just
explaining
That's
it.
what you're supposed to do when it comes to filmmaking and TV. You're supposed to show it, not just have
Right.
walking through some woods or wherever that
that's what I'm
quantum realm
saying.
thing is. Okay, let me explain everything that's happened for about 25 minutes. Like, they need to stop that.
But that's what I'm saying. They did do that though. You know what I mean?
That is
They
a
didn't do it
problem,
for
though, because I
everything,
mean,
though.
this movie's less than 2 hours. It's like 1 hour and 55 minutes of runtime. And even though I enjoyed the movie, I thought it was a fine movie. Whatever, it was fine. I fell asleep for about 3-4 minutes. My wife had to wake me up a couple times, and I watched it twice.
Yo, thank you.
Y'all
Thank-
must got
I'm
kids,
glad I'm
man.
not the only one. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one. I
Yeah, I
felt
got
guilty.
kids.
I was like, damn, I
Well,
can't
for
be the only one that fell asleep on this.
It's them lazy boys. It's them lazy boys. Them seats be too comfortable sometimes. Like you'll get like in a nice spot, you just be way too comfortable. Like, and then like, you know what? They need to cut that Nicole Kidman shit, because that's what kills me sometimes. Like as soon as the Nicole Kidman shit, that kind of just
Nah, I
derails
like
my
her.
excitement.
I
It's
like
like,
her.
all right, we 2 years of this shit though. Come on now.
Heartbreak feels
Actually,
good
well,
in a place
at my
like
theater,
this.
they actually did cut that at my theater. They didn't show the Nicole Kidman
Man,
intro.
I need to go there.
Yeah.
But to everybody's point about the MCU explaining so much shit, the reason they're explaining so much shit is because they're making so much shit up as they go along. So it's like, hey, here's MODOK, and remember him from the first movie? He's this now, and da-da-da-da. They got to explain everything because everything's out of nowhere.
Right.
Nothing has been set up already.
I
So
can
they
agree
have to
with that.
explain shit because it's the first time you're seeing it most of the time as an audience member, because it's nowhere else in the MCU for the most part.
But I
So
also think it's two different people that are looking at this. People that are aware of comic books and how things work in comic book area in the arena, and then you have people that are only there to watch a movie and want to be entertained and don't want to have to think about it. They just want to be given hand fed what the storyline is, and that's where they're doing a lot of talking, trying to appease both sides, and it's always going to piss off one side when you do it.
You think that they should have done this, like made a Disney Plus show that's like kind of surrounding the quantum realm?
No, because
kind of
because
the idea of the quantum realm and having Kang, you need to have a little mystery. It's like almost like having too many trailers. I feel like that's something they do. They're putting way too many damn trailers out there. They need to stop putting that. Leave a little mystery, and then we get in there. We have no expectations, and then we're going in and saying, okay, now they're explaining what's going on. But when you kind of have an idea of what's happening already, I think it takes away from the mystery. I think they did it the Multiverse of Madness. They did it in too many of these movies when they're explaining too much in these the trailers.
Facts. That's why I avoid trailers a lot of times. I'll watch a teaser trailer and then that's it. That just go right to the movie because the trailers show too much.
I would say, as far as like the quantum realm stuff, it's still kind of like a mystery. But with the multiverse stuff, I think with he who remains, like his whole breakdown of shit like that, I've watched that shit like several times, and it's just like that's like a pretty good breakdown of exactly just how this whole multiverse thing kind of came about. And one of my theories that I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but I feel like there's Star Wars in this shit as far as like telling the story backwards, where the Infinity Saga is literally the end of like it's at the end point, and then like everything now that we're seeing is like kind of just the beginning and just starting all over again, because like Kang's always talking about like I know how this ends, and I know I know how everything kind of plays out, and he who remains also talks about like I'm always like you can kill me now, I'm still going to end back here anyway. So it's like one big ass time loop where certain things kind of change, but he always
Can,
ends up.
can somebody explain to me the difference in the MCU, as they
Mhm.
put it, the difference between the multiverse and timelines?
So
Well,
yeah,
I don't think so, and this is why I say because Endgame's messed it up because they confused universe travel with time traveling on your timeline. Because
yeah,
okay, in Endgame, right? Uh, Ebony Maw said Nebula traveled 9 years back, 9 years into the future. Well, 9 years back from the future to the past, meaning she traveled on a timeline in her universe going back. She didn't
yeah.
jump to a different universe. So by that logic, when Nebula killed herself, she should cease to exist because you can't have a past without a future. But because
but they kind of
that's
over
what's wrong
explain it.
with Endgame and Loki. They're doing this. Let's play it safe time travel instead of actually taking a risk.
This is how I look at it.
Time travel.
This is how I look at it. If you look at what like He Who Remains said, right? He used Eliath to kill all those other or to destroy all those other timelines to create that one singular timeline, the sacred timeline. But now that he's dead, now it starts back up again, and now there's multiple
Well,
Kangs and multiple. There's
Okay,
other.
so
There's
there's
no, no,
multiple timelines or
no,
multiple
no, 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 no. There's
universes.
multiple universes. The timeline it's simple. Okay, well, not simple, but
Timeline's not hard.
so in Endgame, right? Instead of the Back to the Future stuff, you go back to the past, you affect the future. In Endgame, it's not like that. You go back to the past, but what happens is another branch comes out and you create a new timeline, but that's still in the same universe. The multiverse has different type of universes. So in another universe, you could do the same thing they did at Endgame, have someone go back in time, and then it would cause a branch, but you would still be in that universe. So anything that happened in the MCU universe that we've seen stays in that universe, even when they went back in time and created a new branch.
Also,
It's,
keep in mind when he said because he's the one that like is keeping control of that. That's why he told the Lokis saying like, "Yo, you could take my job and keep things in order, making sure there's not any like branching timelines and stuff, or you could just kill me and just start this whole thing over again, and I just
right.
end back here."
It's what the branching timelines is what the other Kangs see, right? So they know they're in their own pretty universe, but when they start branching out, that's when they start to see that there's a multiverse because there's branches going all over the place. So now they can see, okay, well, we have other universes out there or other multiverses out there we can conquer. But that that specific thing that happened in Endgame stayed in that universe. It may have created 10 different timelines or however you want to say, but it was still in that multiverse. And then something else that would happen in another multiverse. And I think what's going to happen is these Kangs are going to be crossing through multiverses. So when we get to like Kang Dynasty, we're going to see different versions of maybe a Tony Stark, because I heard he's supposed to come back or something like that. So you're going to see that stuff, but it's going to be a totally different multiverse.
But what about okay? So I got a question. So the whole thing with Loki, right? So doesn't Loki kind of fuck that up because he left after the first Avengers because he disappeared with the Tesseract, and that's how he got his own show. But then from then on, he never gets to
Yeah, he branched out of like the sacred timeline, like that
Yeah,
within that timeline still, not outside of that sacred timeline.
right.
So
Yeah.
pretty much like Kang was pretty much doing quality control, kind of like he's just making sure everything stays a course. But now that there's nobody to kind of keep things in check, it can go anywhere. So if you were to branch off into another timeline, now that's going to create a whole nother like alternate thing now and stuff whatnot
And,
outside
and
of
now,
that.
we're gonna get inclusions going on, and we're
I
gonna
was just
have
about to get to those
Incursions, yeah.
So
incursions. I'm
so
sorry, incursions. Yeah.
yeah, so when timelines cross, that's an incursion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
Yeah.
it was when multiverses cross. That's an incursion.
No,
No, it's the timeline.
It's universes.
That's what I thought. I thought of when the universes cross.
Because when Doctor Strange went to the,
You're right. It is universes.
he
Yeah.
wasn't supposed to be there, living in that universe.
You're right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, it is universe because in Multiverse of Madness they went to another universe, and when you saw the conversion, it was because two timelines were crossing together. So I believe that's what happens when you have too many branches. You're gonna have some that are gonna intertwine with each other, which will cause the incursion.
And that makes sense now that they introduced that, because now with like Kang Dynasty, whatever ends up happening, I think there's going to be multiple universes destroyed till there's like one or two, and they're going to have to fight it out in like sequels.
I agree.
They're going to. It's going to Battle World. That's just what's happening.
I mean,
I need a Disney Plus episode of Multiverse Assembled when they explain all this stuff.
Yeah,
No.
I need multiverse 101.
We need to just have Luis do it for us.
No, I need
Luis, that was crazy. That was hilarious.
I gotta say,
That's what was
Luis
missing
was
from the
missing.
movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Luis was missing. Instead
Yeah.
of Scott talking to himself at the end, he should have been having a conversation with Luis.
I agree. Yeah.
Well,
Going through and hearing everything up, and this is what
I
happened.
agree.
Wraps it up in a nice little bow, and he's like, "But did it really happen, or did he really
Yeah.
die?" He's asked those questions instead of Scott. That was missing.
Even
what
at
were you
the
saying?
beginning, the beginning monologue and the end monologue could have been Luis. You know what I mean? Instead of Aaron.
That would be funny. That would be funny. But LB, what were you saying?
I was just gonna say, I need Kevin Feige to sit down in front of a camera and explain all of this. That's what he needs to do.
Right.
I agree. It's complicated and like
It's really not though. Like I said, just go back to that last episode of Loki. Like he just breaks it down. He lets you know exactly what's going to happen. Like you know.
So you
Nah,
telling me I have to sit back and watch that one season?
Yeah, just skip that. Skip all the like episode 5. Just go 6. Like you know, so you know what.
I mean, okay, yes, Loki came in and gave a better way of doing the time travel, right? But it still directly even contradicts what like it's so many theories of time travel that they have in the universe, in this MC universe. Like there's you can have different ways of traveling it, but it needs to be consistent with like rules and stuff. Because the Avengers was doing their own little thing with the quantum realm, and it's like
they time travel in the. I know where you're going. They time travel with the quantum realm. We see in this movie that time is supposed to work differently in the quantum realm, but it's not. They're popping up the next day back in regular time, and the ants go off into a different portal and they go thousands of years in the future. So we got all this multiple, various time stuff going on. And then for me, what complicates that even more is that you got a multiverse principle. So you're dealing with time travel and the multiverse. So now it's like, when are we at any given point in time? Like, I don't even know. Sometimes
I think that's done on purpose, because it's like it's so chaotic, and it's just like we're about to get into like Ant-Man and Kang and stuff, but it's interesting that Kang has been doing this like multiple times, and then like when he got to the He Who Remains King, like he came up with that one option with the whole alliance, and like this was the way to win the whole war, and just like and create peace and stuff and whatnot by killing all these other universes. But
and where I say it gets a little complicated, because now I got a question and ask. So is the quantum realm its own thing, or does every multiverse has their own quantum realm?
I look at it like, there's the quantum realm is similar to how like Asgard is separate from, it's outside of, it's its own thing. What was the shit that the Shang-Chi went to? It's another universe within our universe. So there's all these different pocket universes within our universe.
So does another universe have those same pocket universe, or is it that when someone from a different multiverse goes into the quantum realm, it's the same one that we're seeing now? Like, is there just one major quantum realm, or does every universe have their own quantum realm?
It's supposed to be one major quantum realm because, as I said, it's outside of time and space itself. So it's not supposed to have the same principles, but we don't get that. You know, that's not what we're
What up, Jill?
getting.
Right.
They're not explaining that the right way. But
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
feel
Well,
like it's
I
supposed
think
to be one quantum realm.
I think I might agree with Anzo's theory of it being in each universe, because how I look at the quantum realm, because if we see in the movie, we seen little germs down there, like those giant creatures. They look very reminiscent of germs, and most of us in the real world, we can't see germs with our eyes. Like you have to be that size to even see the germs. Because when Scott shrunk in Ant-Man 1 down to the quantum realm, it's almost like he really didn't even. He just shrunk down to the subatomic level, which is a whole different world in itself.
Well, let me add this, K Dot. Remember, Kang's device could travel the multiverse from the quantum realm.
Right.
So I
That's
would
we
think
connected somewhere.
from where he's at, what we can say is that you can access the entire multiverse from the quantum realm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but I mean,
Like
I don't
that's
know
why
what that tells us, but
maybe the quantum realm for like each universe is kind of like a hub in a sense, like a hub world where you can go anywhere you want. Because like I said, we saw what the Avengers did with it. They use it as a portal to travel, as a gateway to get through different points in time.
Once again, they said at the beginning of this movie, the quantum realm is like a universe on itself. So each little part of the quantum realm could be part of another multiverse. Like you go from this part to this part, it's another multiverse, but they're all connected through this quantum realm, which is as big as the universe.
Just layers.
So what I would say is that maybe there is a quantum verse in each universe, but I think so you know where they found He Who Remains? Maybe that's the hub. And that's what connects all the multiverses together. But in each universe, there's a quantum realm.
Quantum realm, yeah.
Because I'm curious to see where we're also going to talk about that too. I'm curious to see where the councils of kings are, because they were looking at the multiverse, so they're pretty much out of time. They're like somewhere like in their own little pocket and stuff.
There could be many of these hubs with connections to other universes. The quantum realm is one of them, where I think there might only be one. It's not like every universe has a quantum realm. I view it as that's the place where they exiled him, right? And that's the place that they decided to. So they didn't choose to give it to the Earth that we've been watching. It's their quantum realm. No, it's the quantum realm that belongs to everyone. Every universe has this one quantum realm. So quantum realm is one of the places where He Who Remains was watching through time. That's another one of those places that's kind of connected to everyone. There could be more than one of those.
Like you said, the TVA is also outside of time and space. So the TVA could be another place where there's another connection between all these multiverses, but it's outside.
Is the negative zone similar to the quantum realm?
No.
Negative zone?
No.
The hell is negative zone?
Negative zone was in Ms. Marvel, where she got her powers and she did the Nestea plunge, and then she go like, "Oh my god, everyone's blue," and then she returned back to normal.
I'm thinking about the Fantastic Four and how they got the what was that place that they went to? They got their powers.
Oh no, they just hit some cosmic.
It was a solar. I think it was a solar flare. I thought,
but they do have villains in the negative zone, though.
Yeah.
What about that?
Well, I never seen Miss Marvel, so I never.
I mean, I can't believe you don't know the difference between a realm and a zone.
Well, BG, what were you saying?
I was saying, where does Dormammu? Where is he?
That's a dark dimension.
The dark dimension, yes. That
he's in a different little pocket dimension.
Is that a pocket dimension? Is that a
that's a pocket dimension.
Pocket dimension.
Well, but I got something to say too. I got something to say too though about the quantum realm. So the quantum realm in our universe, like the times don't match up, right? It's supposed to be like its own thing. So the shit that confused me was that when Scott and Hope got stuck in the quantum realm, right? When the portal closed, like I'm like, oh shit, so they're stuck there. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, you're not. Open up the portal, y'all can come back. I'm like, wait a minute. So if the shit closed, the times are different now. So 2 minutes could be like a day or two. And then she just opened it back up like it was nothing. And I'm like, well, damn, here it is, Marvel once again, taking the easy way out. Like, okay, we're going to make you worry for a second, but now everything's okay. Now they're coming back. Fuck out of here.
See, now if they like had them stuck there, that would have made all the more difference, in my opinion. Would have
Yeah,
had like
yeah,
I
that
like
some,
it too.
some real consequence because like he got stuck there once. Hope's never been stuck there, but
Right.
now they really don't know how to get back.
yeah, because it
Yeah,
would have
that's what I thought they were gonna do, but of course, it's being Marvel. Like, no, we can't take no chances like that.
because it adds more reason for supposedly from the leaks of the movie, not leaks, but the rumors. New World Order, Sam is supposed to be setting up the Avengers in that movie, and if you trapped Scott and them there, Cassie would be trying to go meet up with Sam to say, "Hey, there's this threat coming." Blah blah blah. Scott is stuck in
Right.
his realm. We need to prepare,
You,
fighters to come get ready for this threat, and that's Sam setting it up in his
you,
movie.
you know what's still interesting too? At the end of Shang-Chi when they were talking about that beacon, and when Scott made that comment to Kang, he's like, I called all the other Avengers and stuff. You think that was the beacon, or like he was just like kind of bluffing
He was
Oh,
I
in
don't
the
think
definitely
I,
context?
I
bluffing.
don't think he knew about that because the way Scott made his relationship seem, it was like, all right, so whenever they need me, they'll I'll be there. I don't think he knows all that the deep like those meetings and stuff that
Mhm.
the Avengers been having. I think he's just like on call. He's like on
Oh no,
security.
I'm saying like he's setting like a distress signal, like like we down here, so we need like somebody to come down here, some shit like that, or I don't know, but
Yeah, I think he was bluffing.
Yeah, he was just
okay.
lying.
Yeah, he was
Doing the
definitely
Scott thing.
bluffing.
He was because he don't be talking to him like that from what he, I mean, basically said he's on call.
Well, you know what? Now that I think about it, with Kang kind of disappearing at the end, and with Shang-Chi, they're saying that beacon that could have been him. Like they could have found like he's probably in a different. He probably in that wherever Loki's at. That's probably going to be
I mean,
the end result with that.
my only thought in regards to trying to connect like Shang-Chi and Miss Marvel with the 10 rings and then her
Hmm.
Miss Marvel's gauntlet is I don't know how like detailed the imprints were, but if you look on the like I don't know how to explain this shit. There's like circular objects that
Yeah,
were like turning into the sphere on the outside of like Kang's empire. It
Yeah,
has
yeah.
a bunch of like numeral shit on it, but like it's not
Looks like
close enough to
Shang-Chi.
where yeah, exactly, like some of that shit. So I think that's the way they're gonna try and like connect Kang's character to like Shang-Chi and making him and Miss Marvel way more important.
yeah. 'Cause I definitely think that like those rings in that gauntlet is definitely probably his tech or something he got from his timeline or something like that.
It's probably shit from his timeline that probably got scattered and people found it. I guarantee you that's probably what happened.
Or
Mhm.
he planted it because it's all part of his
Yeah,
plan. It's going
Yeah,
to be
he
something
could have
he's going to
planted it
back
too.
again. Just like the dark hold and all the other crap that he had that he supposedly is planted. So it's part of his grand plan, and we're gonna all see it, and that's what's we're gonna get down to that battle world and all that other crap.
Yeah.
Speaking of the
okay,
dark hole, how much does Wanda know about Kang?
that's an interesting thing. That's another thing too. Like Kang is very manipulative, and he's able to persuade people into helping them work. Imagine that alliance, though. Imagine that, just Kang and like Wanda. They don't need nobody else.
I don't think she knows about him yet because the Dark
Kang
Hole is just a book
broke
about
the dark
magic.
hole. He
It
broke
don't
it.
really talk about like it wouldn't talk about technological beings like Kang. Is just magic specific.
I see. I asked because, logically speaking, she could have been going after Kang's ship too, instead of America's powers to travel the multiverse. If she knew
Hmm.
about Kang, she could be going after his ship or the technology he used to build his ship.
Because I
But
think she
knows
would
it.
because I think she would take his offer. You know what I'm saying? Like say like I can give you this time with your kids, and you know what I'm saying.
You know what? And
I
that
don't.
that would that would have been a great way to set up Wanda as the villain better. Kang is the one who hires her, and she's the one doing
Yeah.
that stuff in Multiverse of Madness. I mean, for a different reason, but you know, he's setting up the seeds to get her on his side.
Yeah, so let's talk about these last two characters. Ant-Man and Kang, starting with Scott. How do y'all feel about Scott and just like his overall character throughout these three movies? You feel like he's regressed as a character, progressed? I'll start with Ryan.
Honestly, I just feel like he's had the slowest development out of most of the big name characters, we'll just say, since he's a title character in all three. I feel like between one, Civil War, two, and Endgame, that's where you see the progress. But he really doesn't go anywhere. His character never changes. His look out on life doesn't change at all. And I think the way they literally cap the film and start the film in kind of the same way just adds to that, where it doesn't seem like it really affected him. He has that one epiphany moment where he's just like, oh shit, Kang said if I killed him or if he didn't get out, there's going to be a worse situation, which I'm kind of looking back at and I'm like, let's be real. If Kang in this movie got out, it probably would have ended with the fucking multiverse or this timeline ending. And with that being the ultimate goal, I don't feel that any other Kang outside of him would have been as threatening, if not just less threatening. And I'm just in here like, damn, okay, I don't really feel anything at the end of this. And I think Kang says a little bit like, yeah, there are worse versions of me from Loki season one. And that's why I'm here trying to prevent that. And I'm really just curious to see how they play his, I'm just going to say fake death scene, because rewatching again, it looks like he got sucked into the ball or the energy sphere, as I like to call it. At the end of the day, it doesn't look like he died. It looked like he got Darren crossed per se, where his body just got mumbled and jumbled into this smaller universe within this already small universe. So I don't know. I feel like Scott really didn't progress, but he didn't degress as a character in this film.
Okay. I'm gonna go out order. Chill. How do you feel about Scott's character?
I think if you don't progress, then that's nothing. That is trash. Oh, you don't necessarily have to degress, but if you're not progressing as a character, time is passing and you're not learning. That's a waste of a life. If we're using this real life, it's just a waste of stories. Nothing really changed from him, right? Like we got to see what did change for him in Avengers Endgame. And this was all about, oh, here's how those years all went. So it's not like it's nothing. There was some good stuff that came from it. Just he's just still the same guy. Like remember when he was gonna pull out and he was gonna tell them that this is the quantum realm fight, honey, we gotta go back. And then she was so upset with him. Even the psychic dude could see she was disappointed.
Yeah.
So he was I don't know, he just went to who he was back when he robbed VistaCorp.
True. LB, how you feel about Scott's character through this little journey of his? I'll go back to LB. Rashad.
To my Scott.
Yeah.
He's likable, but yeah, like there's no arc to his character. Like there's no real difference between him and from the first movie to this movie. But he's likable. Like Paul Rudd, like dude, I would feel like a piece of shit if I talked about Paul Rudd, man. He's such just a likable guy, man. You know what I mean? So I like his character, but nothing I'm gonna say like, damn, he's one of the best characters in the MCU. But nah, he's cool, man. So I got nothing negative to say about him. But as far as the arc, nah, it ain't no arc. He's still the same motherfucker.
Also, I feel like they touch on so many different aspects of his character being developed in this movie, especially with the heavy theme of loss of time. Those 5 years are for him 5 hours. There's two different sides of that story. Cassie was alone for 5 years. Well, he never ever got to really experience that until after he came out and realized what type of impact that had. And they never go above the surface other than, yeah, you lost time. That's it. You never really see how it affects any of the characters in this movie. And I feel like that kind of goes over the general gist of how they handled the blip after Endgame is
wasted it.
Yeah, it seems like such a wasted story that I'm like, damn, bro, there was some really deep shit in this that no project outside of the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which didn't really dig too deep into it, they never really did anything with it, which is massively disappointing.
Okay. Anzo.
Yeah, Scott Lang to me was, he was exactly what I expected him to be, the same person from the first two. I do think he had a little bit of an arc because at the beginning he didn't want to help, and all he cared about was saving Cassie. And towards the end of the movie, he was like, okay, you know what? We got to stop this guy. So I think there was a little bit of an arc there, but not enough to say. Like, one thing about a lot of these MCU movies is characters, their arcs change from movie to movie, right? Iron Man at the beginning was selfish, and then at the end of Endgame, he sacrificed himself. But at the end of this movie, or these three movies, I think Scott Lang has been the same throughout three. So there wasn't really that much of a change in his character. But at the same time, I didn't have an issue with him. I expected what I expected, and I didn't hate it.
Okay. K dot.
I mean, I still agree with almost everybody's opinion on Scott here. He's like Scott's character is like he's almost like Goku. Like, not saying Goku's a bad character, but he doesn't change. He kind of stays who he is. He's this nice, lovable dude. My issues with Scott as the hero is that he hasn't developed trying to understand his Ant-Man suit more, understanding the quantum stuff. Not saying he needs to become some big genius, but like he always needs Hank to do the scientific stuff. Like he hasn't progressed as a hero with what more he can do. Like in this movie, we saw him turn into Giant Man. Man, I was getting some Attack on Titan vibes, right? If that was Aaron would have, he would have did some things with Kang's Kingdom right there. But Scott,
old girl on his shoulder, so too. I was like, yo, that's straight out AOT, dog.
He turned to a giant man over here, not really doing much. He need the help of all these freedom fighters. I'm like, come on, dude. Like,
but I will say he does, like, he has gotten better with the tech. Like, he gets really creative. Like, he knows he can't beat Kang like physically, but he can kind of like outwit him or try to just do something to kind of like buy some time at least, or just stop him. That's all. It's pretty much what he said. Like, we just both got to lose and stuff like that. So like we both died. And,
And I did want to say one word. I mean, as far as Scott's character goes, overall, I think what they should have done with I felt like Scott's as a character, you could have killed him off this movie and it would have been complete. Because I think in Endgame did a better job of like giving him an arc and something to do.
Salute TC.
And adding to the story more than this movie did. Because in this movie, I do say one thing. I did like him in the third act and how he showed that aggression against Kang. He was like he was pissed that Kang broke his word. But I was like, I mean, it was kind of obvious he's gonna break his word. I mean, what did you expect? But Scott's all right. He does what Scott needs to do. Just be there, be serviceable for the plot.
Okay. BG.
The thing with Scott was he was supposed to be so in love with his daughter that he's doing all of this and doing all this shit for his daughter, but we've already gotten that from him before. So to everybody's point about him not having an arc, I agree, because it's just about him caring about his daughter, but we already know he cares about his daughter. Like, every time we see him, he's doing something for her. So in this movie, all of the Ant-Man's working together, and it's like, oh, why they're all working together? Because we all want one thing. We all want our daughter, kind of shit. I'm like, all right, like come on now.
That was nice.
Family.
Yeah, it's just like,
wait. I was questioning that Scott from Dunkin' Donuts. I'm like, you got a kid, man? I don't know.
Yeah,
he was a bachelor.
Bro, him being there made no sense. They literally explained a few seconds ago that everyone that you see is just a different version of what could possibly happen once you move. So why the fuck is everyone Ant-Man? Then you just got this one random ass Beth
That was funny, yo. That was funny.
I mean, it was funny.
No.
I didn't like that, but I was hoping.
I didn't like it.
I was hoping
I didn't like it either.
A different more different Scots with like Ant-Mans with different suits from different, or whatever. Because they showed the potential with the Baskin Robbins. Scott was like, "Ooh, what other Scots we gonna see?" And they kind of showed more to the same Scots.
That's Baskin Robbins. It's funny. That was a troll. That was a classic Marvel troll, like a Ralph Boner thing, whatever. So, Brian, what's your quick thoughts on Scott?
I thought Scott never learned how to be a hero. I think that's what we learned. He just it's just an add-on character.
Okay.
Any hero would have been. I mean, I think do you want to be a parent or do you want to be a hero? Do you want to protect the world or do you want to protect your daughter? You want to protect your family or you want to protect everybody else? And Scott has said, like, I lost my 5 years. My focus is on Cassie, F everybody else. And that's kind of what we got. And he was not a hero. He wasn't doing heroic things outside the quantum realm. Hope was trying to save the damn world, and he was trying to write a book. Like, he had nothing. He given up that life. So I thought that was interesting. And then when he gets in the quantum realm, he's only doing this Ant-Man stuff again because Cassie's there. He's really not choosing to be a hero. He's choosing to be a father. And that's kind of what Scott is. That's why I never thought he's not the best Ant-Man. And that's why I would have liked Hank Pym to be the Ant-Man in the quantum realm. So that's kind
Okay.
of
Yeah, and
Now,
I think that sums it up about Scott in general. That's why I say it should have been Hank, because Scott just wants to be a family man. He just wants to be in his daughter's life, and the hero stuff. I mean, he's just a guy with gadgets. He happens to love his family, and he might do some good every once in a while if he gets the chance to.
if I just fought a big giant purple man, I'd probably call it quits too.
But like it also dabbles into like a subplot of what fame can do to a person, and that doesn't go anywhere either. Like he takes advantage of fighting with the Avengers once only because he was in the right place at the right time. That's really ultimately what it came
No
down
pun
to.
intended.
Yeah, no, seriously, no pun intended. Like that's what this movie revolves around, time, and it never goes above surface level in any of the aspects.
I mean, he wasn't that famous though. That guy at the donut shop thought he was a Spider-Man. It's like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But like the
Disrespectful.
payoff joke of him understanding that it's Ant-Man doesn't make sense because no one would know that he just saved the quantum realm. So like,
But no, something did change though, because like at the end now he has to pay for the shit. So something definitely changed. Like he doesn't get the free shit. He's like 12. That's different. Like,
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking at least maybe something changed when they came out of there, right? Because at the beginning you thought he was Spider-Man. All of a sudden, for no reason, he's Ant-Man now. So I think something changed when they came out of that quantum realm. I don't know what it is yet.
I think that was just a joke to say Ant-Man can get. I mean, Spider-Man can get it for free, but Ant-Man gotta
Ant-Man
pay.
can't. Yeah,
he got a
Yeah.
bad.
Didn't he call him Bugman? Because then he
Yeah,
call him
he
Bugman.
He called him Moth. He called him a Moth man. He a Moth man. He get real big, real swell. Like, yeah, that's just funny. But let's get to the main character of this. You know what I'm saying? The main character of this whole entire saga that's going to be carrying, you know what I'm saying, the torch all the way to the finish line is Kang the Conqueror. I want to start off with Anzo. How do you feel about Kang and his like first kind of like real big like introduction?
Man, Kang is the reason why I really wanted to see this movie. I personally think Jonathan Majors knocked it out of the park. There's some scenes where, he's just calm and then he gets mad. And I think one of my favorite scenes is that scene with MODOK where he's talking to Scott and Cassie and he says something and he just flicks his finger and is like, don't speak when you're in the same room as me. I love that. I thought Jonathan Majors was the best part of this movie, hands down. And the fact that we've seen him play 5 different Kangs in this movie, like it's gonna show his acting ability. You know what I mean? And I'm like, yo, hashtag more. We need more Kang. Let's get more of Jonathan Majors in this. I think they could have done a little bit more. Like he could have been a little bit more in the movie, but when he shows up right away, I was invested and I couldn't get enough of Jonathan Majors as Kang. I think he did a great
Okay.
job.
Okay, Ryan.
I think hashtag we need more Kang is just like hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Same people.
And
Man.
hashtag recast T'Challa. Same thing. I get it.
Oh man.
Oh wow.
You going there? You going there?
Ryan, what's your thoughts on Kang?
I like Jonathan Majors in the role, but this movie did not sell me on Kang being a big threat as of now. And part of his story didn't really make too much sense, in particular, like with his chair and shit, because when they first introduce him in the flashback, when Janet is explaining her history with him, my man gets the ship out as she's about to put the battery in. As we know, things do not work until you put a battery in, right? But I guess not for Kang, because he's from like the 30th century. Janet touches his giant seat. She sees his mind, and he's kind of shocked about that, which I find shocking that he doesn't know that his own device can do that, for one.
I don't think he was shocked. It was more like, she found me out. Like, what did you see? Like,
I guess. And the thing lifts up, it starts working without the battery being in, for one. These are like, that's a nitpicky thing, sure. But then my problem really comes in when he builds his own Kang empire in the quantum realm, because how the fuck does my guy build this whole empire with tech from the 30th century if he doesn't have access to it?
He just didn't have access to the PIM particle. They only took away his access to that for him to leave out of the realm. He still has all his technology.
But so this is like coming from
he
someone
only came with his chair.
Yeah, this is coming from someone who's like not read the comics. I don't understand what that chair really does. They don't do a great job at explaining.
It's the
what
suit.
The chair is.
When he got his suit, that's when he got basically all his powers to take over, the quantum realm, just based off the technology that's in his suit.
Yeah, but once he gets his chair, that's when he can really just go wherever now.
Yeah, Like I just think it goes back to the film not really explaining anything, and just left me as like someone who doesn't read the comics quite confused.
Okay. Brian, how you feel about Kang?
I thought they did a good job explaining Kang as when you saw him with Janet, you saw him as almost a broken man, because his timeline is not straight. He's been everywhere, jumping all over the place. So his timeline is not linear. He doesn't have linear thought. He has this thought process that's everywhere at the same time. And I think they did a good job of kind of explaining that or showing that in his acting. And then when you see how powerful he is, it seems like Thanos is menacing guy. Like, I could kill you with my hands. The way he was reserved, it was almost like he was at all points of time trying not to kill everyone around him. And that was kind of what made him look scary. I think they could have done a better job of making him even more scary, but I think they will do that in future movies. But the point was that he's so powerful, such a force of nature, that he's trying his best to not kill everyone. He's trying to have a conversation with someone he sees as a lower being in itself.
I look at it as like just his ideas. Him and like Thanos have very similar like ideologies where like, they're both doing this because they feel like, doing this is for the better of mankind and stuff like that. And that's what's so dangerous about it, that he's thinking of it like not on just a universal level, a multiversal level and stuff. And like, because imagine if the multiverse is open and Thanos used the gauntlet, like he'd be snapping half of the multiverse away. Like that's fucking crazy. And just him being and I like the fact that he's just a man, you know what I'm saying? He's not like this, like he's not like an alien or nothing like that. He's just a regular dude that just, got bored one day and just decided, I'm just gonna conquer shit. But
he's in the middle of his strategy. Like I think he set this huge thing in motion for him to take over and conquer everything. And he is almost lost in the timeline. Like he forgets what he's done, how much he's killed, how much who he's defeated, because he's so far in it right now. And that's what I'm saying. It's not a linear thought. It's like I don't even remember where I am right now. But like his strategy, you have to think about if he wrote the Dark Code, if he did all these things, he's put all this in motion so long ago. And I think they're going to, when you start to identify that, when you start seeing, Rama Tut, start in more of this, when you start seeing Centurion, he's going to have the power, he's going to have a lot of things, So I feel like you're going to see a lot more from him. And even this one, the Conqueror, you're going to see a lot more coming from him. I think it was a good introduction.
Anzo, you wanted to say something before you head out?
Yeah, the last thing I want to say is, so none of us on the panel think Kang is dead, right? But I also think, he actually won, because if he's able to see the beginning and the end, then he knew what was going to happen, right? How that happened, he knew what was going to happen. So I think at that point, he probably knew that, he was going to get stuck into whatever happened to him at the end. But I think that was all part of the plan. So I think at the end of the day, I think he did actually win, and we're going to find out in future movies. That's all I have to say.
I think.
Did Ant-Man say that at the end? Because remember when he had that last epilogue, he's like, "Wait a minute." He did say, "If I don't go through, then bad things are going to happen." Oh shit! So that means. And for a moment, you get scared, like, "Oh shit, what the fuck is going to happen?" Yeah, because he didn't go through, like you said.
Well, I think these specific Kangs, like Kang, he has seen a bunch of time, right? Well, we know only one Kang has seen the most, and that's probably He Who Remains. He Who Remains definitely seen the most, because the only way he could have beat all those Kangs was if he's seen more than them. So I think this Kang the Conqueror, he is right to an extent. Like if you didn't let me out, I mean, I was the only one that can stop these other Kangs that is going to do much for me. But I still think even he doesn't fully know the end. Like He Who Remains knew the end.
I think because like even I think he knows certain things up until a point. He's always constantly trying to change it. Similar to like the Flash, how he always tries to go back in time and just try to fix this one certain thing, but ends up messing up more things and whatnot. So
I mean, I think Kang is perfect the way he's kind of like Aaron. He can see to a certain point, but don't know the full story.
Well, I think we may find out that this Kang is not as bad as we thought he was. And I think he was more or less trying to stop the other Kangs from taking over. That's just a theory that I have. It could be right. I don't know. But I just think that, when we see the end credit scene and it's like, maybe there was a little bit more to this Kang. But thanks for having me, Perp. And guys,
no problem.
Have a good one, man. It was a pleasure.
Yep.
Peace.
Guru, how do you feel about Kang so far?
Kang was I like Jonathan Majors. You know what I mean? I liked his performance, but Marvel's gonna have to give me more than this Kang shit to really kind of set the tone as far as a villain. We don't need no more sympathetic villains. I mean, Thanos did a great job with kind of portraying a more sympathetic villain, but the threat of Thanos kind of loomed over the entire story. The idea that he could wipe away half the universe was really compelling in regards to the characters, especially the collection of the stones, right? But with this Kang the Conqueror stuff, I mean, I don't really know what the threat is when we're talking about you're going to kill trillions of people. It's like, okay, like.
I think that's the intrigue in it, because like he is so shrouded in mystery, where like people around the galaxy knew who Thanos was and what he's capable of. They call him the Mad Titan, but nobody really knows who Kang is. Like there's only like a select, like Loki, Janet, and like all the Ant-Man people. That's the only people that really know who Kang is. So it's like to not even know what's coming.
Killed trillions of people? Did he already killed? Like she saw the past, and he already has killed trillions of people and destroyed universes and and worlds. He's already destroyed them.
Yeah, that's why.
I,
That's why. Perp. While I don't disagree with your point about him possibly doing this for something good, I think he's completely bad. Because okay, let's
that was
say,
Hanzo that said that. That was Hanzo. That was
uh,
thinking. Yeah.
well, okay, let's say he does doing this for a good reason. He's only going to do it. It's going to be a illusion to the heroes because there's a chance this Kang could easily work with the other heroes, but just like Doctor Doom and many other villains, he's going to betray them once all the other Kangs is out the equation. He's just probably going to use them as a tool to get the other Kangs out the equation because they're much tougher than the people he fights in the universes that he destroyed.
Mhm.
So I don't think I compared Thanos is a lot more of a sympathetic villain, even though I don't think there's nothing sympathetic about him, but that's what he was made out to be.
What,
Kang is this dude straight up evil. This dude
but
straight up like he just
but
purging universes because he's bored.
but what I like about Kang compared to Thanos is like I wish they would have done this with Thanos, like kind of give us a little bit more of Thanos in action, like early on, like in Guardians, like have him like just behead like
Yeah.
Ronan or some shit like that, or like him like each post credit scene should have been him like collecting the stone or something like that, or you know what I'm saying. I like that they're kind of choosing to show you the big bad and him in action before we get him in the next two like Avengers movies. So
But we talked about stakes,
Mhm.
and maybe this will happen in Kang Dynasty. But we talked
Mhm.
about stakes. We really didn't get the stakes of Kang's villainy in this movie. We seen his ability to take over the quantum realm and kind of have
Mhm.
goons and an empire, but then we
Right.
never really understood, or it was never shown to us what could happen on a grand scale once he gets out. So it's like, at what point can we actually get the full
and that's probably
story so we know what our heroes are up against?
and that's probably what they're going to do with Kang Dynasty. How similar how Infinity War, the bad guy won. So like Kang's gonna most likely win at the end of that,
What does that
and
Yeah.
it's
mean? That's my question. What does that mean? Kang wins. What does it look like?
He destroys
every
the world.
destroys every universe until there's like at least one, and then just like all these heroes got to fight against all these other heroes or something like that. It's gonna be one big ass war.
But Purba, I gotta disagree though. I think the Infinity Saga did it perfectly with Thanos because I mean I don't know how many of you watched wrestling back in the day, but before they introduced like a big bad character in wrestling, they would have like little vignettes and like
Hmm.
hype the
Yeah,
character up. So when you finally see him in action, it's like you already have in your mind how badass he is. So it took like I forgot how many movies to finally get to Thanos, and when you see him, the first thing he does is fuck up the Hulk. So right
yeah,
there, you know, it's
I
nothing to
get
fuck
that.
with.
I get that. I just like
Yeah.
I wish we would have saw him more in action, like doing something like as far as like we could have possibly got like a little maybe like even like a little solo movie just kind of giving him more like I just feel like two movies wasn't enough to really give him justice and just to kind of snap him out of existence. I think that was, but that opens the door now with the multiverse, like that he could possibly come back in some way down the
Yeah,
line.
yeah. I mean, I would love to see it back. Now, as far as Kane goes, I mean, if I can keep it a buck, I'd like Jonathan Majors' performance more than the character itself because, like with any big bad guy, there's always something that you remember about them. Like like you remember, like okay, if I say Darth Vader, you can name me one thing that Vader did that was like badass. You know what I'm saying? If you think of Freddy Krueger or any cinematic villain, you can tell me one thing that like damn, like what they're known for. With Kang, I really
Wasn't there?
can't. It wasn't there for me. At no point did I feel
I
like this character is nothing to fuck with. But Jonathan Majors' performance really sold me. Like, okay, I want to see more of this guy, but I wasn't sold on the character itself, though,
I can
as a villain.
I can understand that, but like I'm looking at it from a different kind of perspective because I'm looking at like from like the two characters that we saw him play, and it's very vastly different because it's not like he's not like I said, like a Thanos where he's like this just presence. He just looked like even at the end of that second end credit scene, whenever you had Owen Wilson's character, it's like that's the guy that y'all are worried about. He doesn't look threatening. I think it's the ones that don't look threatening. It's just like are kind of interesting villains because you never expect that. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, this is just only like the beginning, so we'll have to wait and see. Like, I'm not gonna sit there and say he's better than Thanos. I just like the way that they're showing him early on without just like having to wait until exactly Avengers 5 to kind of show what he's capable of doing and stuff. But they're just slightly just teasing him, and just I like that he's really good at like persuading people. That's like a thing of his, and just and whatnot. But I can understand that like people just want to see more, and it felt like he was a little underused in some case. But
This was the time. This was the movie where they could have explained how exactly he's using telekinesis. It's that arm band. Because when he was fighting hand to hand with Scott towards the ending, and he wasn't using the powers that we know him to have, it's because his thing was damaged. I'm putting that together. There was never like a stop and let's show the audience this. This movie was edited to, I think, pull away some of those slower scenes so it could have a smaller runtime and be played in theaters more often.
okay. So how'd you feel about Kang as a whole?
Good acting. I did think he died. So no, not everyone on this panel believes that Kang is going to be alive again. Like, I think that was it for him. Yeah, sure, it happened with Darren Cross where he got miniature and he's still alive. I don't think that happens here, man. I really think that they showed us the ending that there's more Kangs and focus on those guys.
But if that thing that he went into has multiversal energy, what else? You don't think that wouldn't tear him apart? That would just, at least that's probably like just a beacon to somewhere else at a point in time that pops him out of
prison, or a prison, just like we saw in What If or Doctor Strange. It's like a prison, and then he gets broken out of, and then takes.
I like this one theory I've seen going around, because I know a lot of people don't like are kind of against him becoming the Beyonder. That could be possibly a scenario where at the end of Kang Dynasty, or just at some point, he comes back as Beyonder Kang or some shit.
It's Beyonder powers and comes back as the Beyonder. Yeah,
that's a little bit of a reach, but I could definitely see him just like popping out in a different timeline. I think the one that we see in Loki is that Kang that that's eventually going to be coming back and stuff.
And I don't know, maybe I just didn't see it. I thought when Janet touched it and saw his mind, she saw him destroying world after world after world after world. Like they literally saw him destroying planets. Like it was trillions of people dying in front of you. Like they literally showed it on the screen of people dying. So like they're saying we don't see what he's done, but we did see what he was doing. We saw him killing everybody.
Yeah, but they definitely showed him in that light killing people, but that doesn't really constitute a threat in the story. Like, we understand that this person is bad because they kill people, but what is the actual threat that they pose to the story as we know it? See, so killing people, I mean, we just watched half the universe get wiped away and then brought back to life. And now we're in a multiverse to where everybody's dying and coming back to life. I mean, Gamora's got a movie coming up later this year, and she died in Infinity War.
But what happens when somebody destroys that time? Like, say destroys that universe, that they're all dead. There is no coming back.
But I think that's the case though. But you see the juxtaposition. Now it's hard. I've always said this too, Perk. It's hard to create stakes when you're creating so many ways for people to come back to life between time travel and multiverse appearances and everything in between. It's hard to create threats to say, oh, well, Kang, he's going to kill 1 trillion people. Okay, yeah, what does that really mean, though, as an audience member? Like, why do I care if 1 trillion people die or don't die? That's a number that's unfathomable. So what to the story can you provide? And I don't think Marvel can do that anymore.
I think it's just. I just think I want to say this real quick. I think it's like it's them kind of getting ready to like. I think they're just getting ready to reboot. That's like, or just at least soft reboot. With them, if they destroy all these different, what I'm saying, they go down to like whatever Battle World or something like that, and then it kind of resets, and then you could introduce like X-Men and all this other shit, and what I'm saying. I think that's what they're going. That's going to be like the end goal with Secret Wars.
Or that's like unless the end all be all is that once this is done, and I do kind of agree with Perp because they are trying to use this whole saga as a chance to bring in the X-Men, Fantastic Four, and all these characters because they didn't have them at the start, they couldn't use them, and now they want to do a universe with all of them in it. They're still missing Spider-Man and Hulk, but they have a bulk of their characters back. Now, if the stakes are at the end of it, just like how we lost the Infinity Stones and they got destroyed and all that and stuff, then in this case, by the end of phase 6, it would go into 7 where we have a proper universe to an extent. That means we have to lose something like time travel in the multiverse. Like, will Kang destroy all the universes and it goes back to just being one and that's it? Or like, what's going to be the big loss in the end? Like, what's going to be taken away? Because that's like something gotta be taken away, so our heroes and our characters can develop even more.
That's gonna be the biggest plot hole in the history of fucking.
But also,
I agree. I mean,
but also,
like that to take away the multiverse at the end of all this.
But also keep in mind though, BG, it's like as Kang being a threat, it's just the fact that like there's multiple versions of him. So like if you kill one of them off, there's still gonna be another one and another one. So it's like he never is really gonna go away. So it's like, and they don't got the Infinity Stones to snap this dude out of existence. So like the only way to kind of trap him is to put him in something like the quantum realm, where I think maybe one of the Kangs has they're probably gonna bring back Elias or something like that in some type of way to kind of probably use that to get rid of him or something like that. But he's just still going to be a hard character.
But can't you still collect the stones though? Because they didn't cap all the stones back in their places at the end of the game.
Doesn't work in outside of time.
Oh,
the stones don't work outside of time. Like TVA, they don't work outside of time.
Gotcha.
I mean, well, as long as you get Kang in your universe, you can use it on him.
Gotcha. But he can just stay outside and control. So that's why I think the Council of Kings are all in the TVA universe, and those 3 main ones we saw are the ones running the TVA. So when we go into Loki 2, we're going to see those main Kangs doing the stuff for the TVA. They're the ones running it.
Right, and I even think Kang, in order for him to do all he did and kill all the universes, I think he obviously knows about the Infinity Stones because we saw it in the other universe. They went to Multiverse of Madness. That Thanos tried to snap too. So who's to say that even if they did what they did in Endgame, would that even work? They traveled and go get these stones to try and combat him.
And we know
probably has something to dampen it or whatever. Or he has a device that makes it seem as though he's in a different universe, so they don't work on him.
And we know that Dr. Doom exists in this universe.
Exactly.
Like he's doing something, but we don't know what he's doing. But we have to wait and see.
Well, I remember the original. Well, remember when the Black Panther 2 script or the they leaked out when they said Doom was supposed to be responsible for T'Challa's
he was supposed to be
death?
he was supposed to be the post credit scene when they took it out.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they can get him right. Hopefully they can get him right, man. Because how the hell Dr. Doom's like one of the most popular villains in Marvel?
I think the best way to do it, can't get him right. The one person that could just come out and kill Kang is like, that'd be dope is for Doom to come in and just be like, yeah, like thanks
like
for.
You said it's multiple Kangs at this point.
The only thing that the only way Kang is killed is by another Kang. I honestly believe that you're gonna have, another version of Kang who's been through all this crap and realized the error in his ways, and then he's gonna be the one that kills Kang the Conqueror.
And isn't he also like a Young Avengers villain too? So like he could pop up like 10 years from now or something like that for Young Avengers or something like that. But final thing I want to talk about, then we just wrap this up because this was a really good discussion. Let's talk about these post credits, the Council of Kangs, and
half your panel, bro.
My bad, I didn't know where you were at.
I've been here.
Well, it's my fault. LB, real quick, what was your thoughts of Kang and just overall?
Kang was okay. I thought he was a bigger threat when he didn't show up on screen when they was talking about him for half the movie. Then he shows up and it's just like, okay, this is kicking off Phase 5. He's going to be in your next two movies. He's the big bad guy, and I don't see him as a threat at all. Like he had the line about when he was talking to MODOK or whatever, and then some of the
Do
times
not talk when I'm in the room. That shit was dope.
that was cool. Then he had a few times when he was hitting Ant-Man, but like for the most part, he was just rambling in the movie. It's just like I need to see more. Like
That's fair.
that's all. Like, but for this movie specifically, the movie I mean, he did a fine job acting. I felt like he overacted at at points, but overall, he's just okay, just like the movie.
Yeah, but I mean, but just like I was saying, with every great villain, you can always name one thing that they're known for, what they did, and you can't tell me one thing he did in this movie that you remember. Like, holy shit! Like, remember when Kang did this? There's no scene like that.
He did it before the movie. He was with Janet, and they had nothing in the quantum realm. And then when we return, he's got everything conquered. He's got his own he's got his city, Somethingopolis.
Like I see people saying that he was like Kang was great, and I'm just like, what did Kang do that was great in this movie?
He didn't do shit.
And that's why, even though I liked Jonathan's performance in that third act, when Kang came out there with his gadgets and stuff, I ain't gonna.
Yeah, he was fucking people up though. He was just straight murking people, just not even thinking nothing of it.
I'm not disagreeing. He was killing people, but I wanted to see like power unleashed. Like I wanted to see like some, not no like Dragon Ball Z crazy level stuff, but like this dude is supposed to. I want to see power, like power, because when those
kind of like how Thanos threw the moon at Iron Man and.
Something like that, because when those ants swarmed him, right? I was like, okay, the ants about to swarm him, and then Kane's about to do some like, Kamehameha type of like, man, he was like, man, fuck all these ants, and he didn't. I was like,
ants are strong, bro.
Where you?
Like we got
Facts.
Like based off of this movie. Like I always say, we gotta wait for the story to play out because he's gonna have a multiple movie arc. But like based off of this movie, he got defeated by ants. And
he didn't get defeated. They just moved him.
Hold on, I want to address something you just said though. I want to address something.
Push him back into his house.
When he just said it's a multi-movie arc, right? That's what this MCU stuff is supposed to be, multi-movie arcs. But for the last few movies, we haven't been getting shit in the movie we're watching. So it's like the plots and the things that are resolved in the movies we're watching are never as good as the potential for the next movie. So they're AKA setting up stuff, but they're never paying off anything.
Facts.
So it's like we're sitting through these movies. Black Panther, Wakanda Forever was like this. This movie was like this. Multiverse of Madness was like this. You're watching this movie waiting for something to pay off, and nothing pays off. And it's just like, come join us next time.
These movies seem to be suffering from Iron Man 2 syndrome.
Yeah.
Like you remember, like they had the whole Shield subplot and then all this other stuff going on. It's like taken away from the main point of the story, but that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, it's like every movie's a setup for the next movie, which is a setup for the next movie, which is a setup for the next show. And it's like, damn, like just give us a complete movie that ties into the universe, but let it be its own thing. You know what I mean?
Right. It's like, come on. I mean, it looks like Guardians is going to be something like that. The Guardian trailer I think looks pretty good, but it's like, can we start when we come watch some of these movies? Can we start getting something from the experience versus Easter eggs to a later experience?
Hey, it's funny. Like I know you said you're going to go to the next credit scene, perp. But like when the second one came on, somebody in my movie theater shouted, "Finally, something happened in this movie!" I was like,
"Hilarious! What a troll!"
hey, I ain't gonna lie. I was dying when they had the Council of Kings pull up. You got those Kings, and
they was hype. Somebody on TikTok, put the whoop that trick Joe behind as the background song. That shit was funny, dog. Because they was hype, bro. That's gonna be crazy, bro. Like they was way too hype, though.
It's like,
Nah.
yeah. It's like, calm
That's a
down.
lot of motherfuckers, yo.
That's some straight up narcissistic shit. They were hyping themselves up.
And
Speaking of which,
who takes out all of them? There's gonna be, is it the exiled one? He returns to get all of the Kangs that exist.
I will
Would not
burn
be-
them
You
from the
burn
top.
them.
Yes.
Mhm.
Captain Marvel will take them out.
If they know what
Probably.
they're doing, sure.
Because honestly, like it's like probably between King Dynasty or in the Secret Wars movie, they could honestly drop a movie or a TV show about Kang the Conqueror killing off other Kangs, like straight up just assassinating Kangs, killing them off. Because that was a bunch of Kangs there. That was like thousands of Kangs.
You know,
I think we.
Ant-Man. Ant-Man should be like, "Are you a Kang? I don't know how many I've killed." Bah, and just gets them back. I think we'll have to create an EMP. Maybe Magneto's there to make sure his electro stuff doesn't work, and then Scott takes care of it.
I think they should give Kang like a special, before Avengers 5. That'd be pretty cool to like just have like a little 1 hour special to him before
Well,
the movie
I
comes
think
up.
it'll be in between because I'm assuming this one my assumption of Avengers 5 that the Kangs is going to win, but the bulk of the movie is going to be the Kangs really fighting, and the Avengers are kind of just like on standby. And it's like, dang, what do we do? Like, do we help this Conqueror dude? Get rid of some of them, and then we try to figure out how we're gonna like backstab this dude in the end. Like,
That's gonna be crazy, yo. You're gonna see like Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire Spider-Man and all them fighting alongside each other.
So were these Kangs from different multiverses or different timelines?
I had to be from different multiverses because that's the point. They're from different like universes.
Like that Ramen Tut one, that they might be teasing that, like that might be something for Fantastic Four. That might be like their villain.
And in my brain, when a timeline branches off and becomes a separate timeline, it also is another universe.
Yeah, it's both. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah. See, that's confusing though. That's confusing as shit. Like another multiverse is a branched timeline.
Yeah, it's a brand new plane of existence. It's a new reality.
That's why the TVA was there to stop that stuff from happening, so they don't have those branched.
Yeah, because
but that's crazy how it slightly changes. Because if I jump to Chillmonger's universe and I take Chillmonger's shoes, the Chillmonger in my universe is going to create a branch timeline where he ain't got those same shoes. That's crazy. No,
it has to be something important. So like even you guys talking about Endgame, because the most important thing that happens when they took the whatever the stones, and since they put the stones back, nothing actually really happened. So it then calls another branch in the timeline. So it's not just any little thing. It's something like they have to be something that's like a variant that causes these branched timelines.
Let's say
what up, Tim?
It may not be as okay. Let's say I went to Thor 2, right? And I stole Thor's hammer in that movie. Now Thor needs his hammer in that movie so the story can progress. He doesn't lose his hammer until Thor 3. Wouldn't that create a big? Do you think that would create a big branch? Because I took away Thor's hammer in that movie. I totally changed an arc for his character, which probably affected the movie because he might lose against Malekith.
Not really, because I think the only thing that's going to change is that his dad's going to say, "Are you the Lord of Hammers or are you the Lord of Thunder?" And that's all. It just comes the same line would just come 5 hours earlier. It doesn't even matter. The same thing happens. The same conclusion still goes through. It has to be something that causes incursions. So it has to be more.
Yeah, I step out of this timeline and then into another timeline where there is no Canada. There's an alternate universe that can.
So, but wait a second. So, does that make America Chavez a multiverse traveler or a time traveler?
Multiverse.
She was a multiverse. Yeah, I think she's a multiverse traveler.
She's hopping a different universe.
She punches.
Wouldn't she be considered a Nexus being? Sort of like how Wanda is, because like they could both manipulate time and space and all that shit.
That's my question.
They're the only.
You keep confusing the terms though.
No, we're not.
She's manipulating time. Is she a time traveler or a multiverse traveler?
She's punching
America,
holes
she's a
through
universe traveling power. So like pretend there's a timeline where Killmonger doesn't show up on this stream and there's a timeline that's now. America could punch a portal and go to each of them. She can visit each of those, I think.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right.
I had this clip I wanted to use earlier, but I didn't have a good time to use it. But like, because I was surprised nobody ever did this. But here's the clip.
You are dumb as fuck. How stupid. This is one of the most butt-fuck stupid things I have ever heard.
Yeah, when John was going off on that shit tongue, I was like, I gotta clip that. That shit's funny as hell.
Damn.
When was it?
This is what he was going off on the Ezra Miller. He's like, do not hire Ezra Miller back. That is the stupidest thing. Like,
Wow.
You guys know how I feel about that, right?
You took that shit personal.
yeah, that shit was hilarious.
You're just holding the studio hostage. If the studio admit, yeah, this is the final Ezra Miller movie, all right. Well, check out who's going to be posting from Instagrams from another dimension, timeline, and universe. It's going to be, oh, F the studio. Hey, I'm on my yada, yada, yada. So just to maintain composure and an attitude of a wild, wild, trying to be polite, but I call him, never mind.
Yeah. There's no way to be polite about that dude.
Just quick thoughts. Is there anybody now more excited for Loki season 2? Brian, go.
I definitely am. I can't wait to see what they're going to do with it. Even seeing that little clip, I thought you're going to get a lot more about Kang. You're going to get more explanation of who he is and why the TVA is being used by him, and see how powerful he really is in all these incursions. And you're going to see how it's destroying the multiverse. I think Loki's going to be huge in trying to pull this shit together, because they're buying a big bite at the apple, and to be able to really do this, you're going to have a lot of glue stuff. And I think that Loki's going to be the biggest part of the glue trying to hold this shit together.
Okay. Dot, how about you? You looking forward to? Are you willing to check out season 2 of Loki a little bit more, just because it seems like it's going to be an important kind of thing?
I mean, I'll wait to watch when all the episodes release. I'm not doing this with MCU shows again. It's going to be another.
Binging is the way.
Yeah, it's going to be another 6-episode show that somehow throws filler in it. Yeah, I'll wait until all the episodes come out, then I'll watch it.
Okay. LB.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I'm an NCU guy. I watch everything.
So. Right. True. Rashad.
Hell yeah, I'm gonna watch it. I mean, as much as like the MCU, I still haven't watched Miss Marvel yet. I'm sorry, I could not bring myself to watch that shit. Who said it was fire? What?
LB.
Bro, Miss Marvel was good, bro.
Man, you fucking with me?
I liked it. I mean,
okay.
Look, man, I'm not saying the MCU shows are perfect, but like some of these people be wanting every single episode to be like the first episode of Game of Thrones or something. It's like everything needs to be amazing.
But just I mean, for like I watched the first episode, and I have a teenage daughter, and that's like something she would watch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like almost feel like I have to turn in my man card if I actually sat down and like, yo, Perp, you see that last episode of Miss Marvel? Yo, that shit was fire, son.
That's how crazy though. That's how crazy.
I don't mind shows like that, like teeny shows and stuff. Like it's not all the way teeny the whole time, but like if you're not into that kind of show, then you ain't gonna like it.
Yeah. I watched that first episode. I'm like, nah, this is a little too kiddie for me. But Loki season 2, yeah, I'm definitely tuning in, because I was a fan of the first season. Even though I didn't understand everything that was going on in it, but
bruh.
I dug it, yo. So sometimes you can watch shit and you don't know what the fuck is going on, but just something about it where you're like, damn, I fuck with this.
Bruh.
You know what I mean? So,
that's how I felt watching Loki, bro. I'm just like, bruh, what is going on here? Like, is my brain like somewhere else right now?
Nothing really, like the little explanation at the beginning with the whole multiverse and branching timelines and the stuff with Kang is the only thing that you needed. Like the stuff, like I don't have a problem with Loki getting his own things, but I don't think it needed to be a 6-episode. I think you could have got that whole put across in like a 2-hour special.
Bro, they spent like 3 episodes just walking, bro.
Yeah, that's episode 3. That's all that shit was. Episode 3. That's all it was. It's just walking like, let's look at the moon. Let's look at the moon.
I love you, Sylvie.
But BJ, I know you kind of checked out on the Marvel shows, but would you be willing to check out Loki?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Low key for me is when I realized that these MCU shows are going to suck. That was the first one where I said, okay, y'all don't really have a direction here. And I think to this day, even after watching Quantumania, I think Marvel has a huge problem from a storytelling perspective with all of these sci-fi plot holes that they've created with time travel, multiverse travel, and all of this shit in between.
Yep.
We keep getting characters back that should have already died and things of that nature. And what that does, it creates content that doesn't have stakes. So it's hard to establish the credibility of a Kang the Conqueror, a credibility of a Wanda, and what their villainy could be if everybody who dies can just come back to life. And nothing really matters. And people can skip time and skip multiverse to do whatever the plot demands. So with that being the case, it's hard for me to say that I'll watch Loki or I'll even be entertained by future Marvel products if they don't clear up what's going on with all of these realms and shit like that. And because it creates a very difficult story to follow.
Yeah, bro. We ain't trying to watch Star Trek season 2, bro. Like
Star Trek. Yeah, but yeah, man, that's pretty much the discussion. This was really dope. We gotta do this again, probably around when Guardians comes out or something like that.
Word.
Anytime like a big movie comes out. I might do a live stream for Scream, but I'll wait on that to kind of like see what I want to do with that, or if that's something I even want to do.
What about Cocaine Bear, the bear, the bear that's on cocaine?
Oh, I'm just gonna do a review. I'm just gonna do a review on that. The Cocaine Bear. That's gonna be a top 10 movie though this year. Like
Bruh.
that shit gonna be hilarious.
Yeah,
BS,
I already know I'm gonna like it. I know I'm gonna like it.
Like Cocaine Bear is like going back to like the golden ages of film where they just would make films out of just whatever.
Y'all capping, bruh. It's not a movie called Cocaine Bear.
There's a movie called Cocaine, and it's based off a true story too. Like
true story, exactly. After 1985, they dropped cocaine in the woods in northwestern United States, and the bear had cocaine, did go a little crazy, and then died. But they's taking some liberties and added to it.
Man, I'm gonna watch this trailer immediately.
Bro, that shit looks entertaining as hell. That looks entertaining as fuck. Like
Friday, I'm in the movie Cocaine Bear starring Ice Cube's son. I'm there.
Yeah, then we got I got that early access for Creed, the IMAX shit. They're doing like a special thing, whatever.
Okay,
so
you know what, yo, I need to ask all y'all.
You have AMC, right?
Yeah, I got AMC. Yeah.
Go on their app and go on to like the coming soon and go down because there should be like they should say like an IMAX special screening because they got two of them. They got one for the 27th and they got one for March 1st.
Okay, sure. Okay, I'm gonna go in as soon as I get off here because I'm wondering like how all these people be getting these damn early screeners. Like this one cat that I know, and I swear to God, every movie that comes out, every big movie that comes out, he watches it like 4 or 5 days early. I'm like, how the fuck y'all doing that?
Like, there's some websites, and then like some of the movie studios, like they have signups to get early previews. I could send some links and stuff.
Yeah, you can do that too. That like, but also like I said, like sometimes like AMC will have like those early screenings themselves too and stuff like that. Sometimes they'll have Q&As or something like that, where be like, oh, you can watch the movie come out in 2 or 3 days before it comes out on Thursday or some shit like that. Whatnot, but
that movie right there. Hey, Perp, thank you, because I just got this shit right now.
Yeah, so I'm saying like AFC come close with that shit. But what are you saying, Rashad?
Oh, I was gonna say. So, what's your prediction? Do you think that Jonathan Majors is gonna do better in Creed 3 or Ant-Man as King?
I think you're gonna do better in Creed 3, just because it's like you don't got a lot of things going on, and like it's mainly just gonna be Michael B. Jordan and like Jonathan Majors is gonna be the main focus of those two characters. So, like, you don't got no extra side characters to really worry about. And it's got me hyped too. They're saying like a lot of the fights are inspired by a lot of anime, like anime boxing and stuff like that and whatnot. So that gets me hyped.
But Sylvester Stallone is not going to be in this one, huh?
Nah, he wasn't in the last one. He died.
Yeah.
his character died.
Well, actually, he's actually bitter about that too because he had like no involvement in this movie, and he feels some type of way. Like, damn, like I created this character, I created this universe, and y'all just X me out. You know what I mean? It's like
I
he felt like it was a
mean,
slap in the face.
it was. I mean, he wasn't even supposed to exist though. Rocky is just some bullshit. It's based on what's his name, Chuck Wagner.
Chuck Webner, yeah.
Webner, yeah. He went a couple rounds with Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, the great white.
And then they based the whole movie off of him. Like Sylvester Stallone take the shit too personal. Like, dude, it's not a real Rocky, bro. You're not a real boxing champion.
They doing the link I put in the group chat. They doing a screening for Cocaine Bear.
Oh yeah, I seen that.
Damn. Okay, I gotta get on that, man. I gotta get some of these early screeners, man. I'm tired of being the last person to watch a damn movie, and the y'all motherfuckers be having y'all reviews up 3 days early.
But nah, it's this was a fun discussion. You know what I'm saying? Definitely gotta do it again. You know,
on that time.
Shouts to everybody that pulled up in the chat. You know, got a couple, like one troll, but it's all good. I'm not gonna sweat it. Yeah, man. So closing things out, just go around, tell people what you got coming down the pipeline, Brian.
Hey, I'm Brian Waller, Brian the Grizzly. Our Spoiler Kings. Right now we're doing Black Excellence in Cinema for the rest of the February. Just trying to get people to understand that there's Black Excellence all year round, and you don't have to wait till February to find it out. So we're gonna do that, and we got the Oscars. We're doing that every Friday. We're doing a review on every Oscar movie, and of course, we're doing all the other movie reviews just like everybody else. So, Spoiler Kings, hit it up.
Okay.
So y'all reviewing Pootie Tang?
What you do, Pootie Tang is tip of the tab.
That's just Kata, let the people know what you got going.
Most of you guys know who I am, but if you don't, SJK Sanctum. Have my South Park season 26 episode 2 reaction dropping tomorrow. First one did very well, and I expect this one to do the same. Be on the lookout for that.
I feel like you're the only one to watch the South Park anymore. It's saying like I think there's like nobody that watches The Simpsons, but somebody watches The Simpsons.
No, Simpsons is the number one streamer.
Simpsons no more. Simpsons never caught my eye, anyways.
South Park's still around.
That's what I'm saying. Like these shows just be going on, nobody watches them.
Dude, South Park came out when I was in high school, bro. I was like, that was a long ass like 98.
7th grade when it came out, man. Shoot.
Yeah. LB, what you got coming? Any videos coming up?
Absolutely nothing, bro. I'm in these streets.
I respect it. Rashad.
Yeah, so I just dropped a review for the Wu-Tang and American Saga episode 3. So I dropped all 3 reviews for all 3 episodes, and I forgot about BMF, so I didn't review BMF this week, but I will be reviewing it next week. So yes, right now I'm reviewing BMF, Wu-Tang, and Snowfall's gonna be coming up. So I'm gonna be reviewing the last season of Snowfall. Really looking forward to that. And Cocaine Bear, of course. And before the Oscars, I'm doing a live stream reviewing What's Love Got to Do with It, the movie that Angela Bassett should have won for. So I'm predicting she's gonna win for Black Panthers. But before then, I want to give a shout out to the movie that her and Lawrence Fishburne should have won for. And I'm doing that Sunday coming up.
Man, I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of hard for me to watch that movie. I can't stand Lawrence Fishburne beating up Angela Bassett.
But he was great. But he was great in the movie, man. Yo, he was.
Yeah, it is. I'm not saying it's not, but it just, man, he got that beautiful.
You putting them hands on him, bro.
I want to jump through the screen. I want to beat up Lawrence Fishburne. That's.
I remember going to see that in the movie theater, and then the scene where she beat his ass in the limo. I remember like it got a standing ovation from the crowd. Yep. She finally beat his ass. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Mr. Pound for Pound himself, BG. Let the people know.
Shit. I ain't got much coming up. But y'all follow me on TikTok. One Black Guru on TikTok. That's the #1 Black Guru on TikTok. I'll be dropping all of my content there. as well as YouTube moving forward. So check me out on YouTube. Check me out on TikTok. #1black_guru on TikTok.
Yeah, on TikTok he just dropped, his review on Emancipation. Y'all should definitely go check that out.
Hold
Giving
on,
me the
bruh.
feedback.
The last time you streamed with you, last time I streamed with you, y'all was so adamant against slave movies, bruh. Now you talking about check out Emancipation? Hold on, bruh.
Nah,
Check out his review on it because
you gotta check out what I said on it. But just to summarize what I said on it, Emancipation is part of the problem of why we don't like slave movies, because you use the same tropes every single time. So if you're going to do a slave movie, you want to take a fresh perspective on something that we kind of already know. And there have been good slave movies like Django or 12 Years a Slave or Roots. But at the same time, Emancipation adds nothing to the genre. So
it shouldn't be a genre. The genre's over. Every lesson you want to learn, there's already a movie for it. I just don't want to see.
Let me tell you something. I don't know if you ever heard of it. I don't know if you ever heard of it, but I had to I had a collab where I reviewed a movie called Mandingo, and I never seen it before. It was a 70s slave movie, and when I tell you that movie pissed me off to no end because you actually see a motherfucker get cooked in a pot. Word.
Y'all against slave movies, but like the way they banning books in schools, that might be the only history we got, bro.
Yeah, I'm not against slave movies, but I just want a good narrative. Like tell a fresh perspective that we haven't really seen. Make sure it's a good movie, not a good slave movie. Like focus on the movie part of it.
Yeah.
Sony just gave a $50 million budget to an all-black cast movie. What did it feature? Black people in the times of slavery. Well, can we not get that? Can you give $50 million budget to like a regular movie that has nothing to do with that? That'd be nice.
Yeah, bro.
Can't we get part 3? We need.
Can't we get a black version of like The Hangover or something, bro?
I'll watch.
That'd be crazy.
Let me tell you something. Only slave movie I want to see at this point is a Django Part 2 where he kills more slave masters. That's all I want to see. I don't want to see. I don't want to see no more shit about niggas getting whipped. All right, I want to see the niggas come back and take out the fucking slave owners. That's all I want to see.
Yeah.
Word.
I'm waiting on a movie
watch
like
the Harriet
that.
Tubman movie, bro.
That's what we're not doing.
See, we should get a fictional movie that takes place in a different universe where instead of white people enslaving us, we enslave white people.
Hold on.
No.
Hold on. Maybe that's what Kang Dynasty will do. It'll take it back to the slave days. Bro.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Something tells me that won't happen.
See, Fast don't say go stop slavery, but Kang might.
I mean, to me though,
Saturday I live stream. That's gonna get really Star Wars themed after Mandalorian gets started. I'll probably do a video explaining Ezra Miller and WB and why Campia shouldn't be so bad.
What Campia do, bro?
Okay.
You can see the clip?
Nah, tell me later.
Hold on, I'll show you. Just watch.
You are dumb as fuck. How stupid. This is one of the most butt-fuck stupid things I have ever heard.
You butt-fuck stupid.
What's the context, bro?
He was going off on Ezra, but yeah, that was pretty much the stream. I appreciate everybody pulling up. Gotta do this again. So next time, I'll see y'all in the next one.
Peace.
Peace.